McElroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58 though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wind, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
Welcome to it. It is Saturday night on TalkSport, and this is Fight Night. I'm Adam Catterall. Gareth Davies, as always, alongside me. We've got an action-packed show for you. All the big topics from the world of fight sports will be discussed. You're more than welcome to come and join us. 03717 22 3344. That's the telephone number. It is open now. So if you've got something that is grinding your gears from the world of fight sports, come and join us. The guest list is absolutely ram-jam full. Sam Noakes, that's right, super lightweight hopeful here in the UK, who's going to be fighting Abdullah Mason in November for the world title, is going to be joining us in the studio. Looking forward to welcoming Sam to the programme. He'll be with us for about half an hour, so if you've got anything for him, you're more than welcome to come and join us. We'll be discussing all the latest trials and tribulations of British fighters hoping for world title shots, including that of Dalton Smith. We'll be getting stuck into that throughout the course of the programme. And of course, we will be talking heavyweights, because there's still a lot to discuss. If you want to get involved with the show, you know where we are. We're streaming live on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel. This is Fight Night on TalkSport. Mr. Ray Davies, how are you?
I'm very well. I found myself watching, I know we're going to talk about it tonight, I found myself watching the build-up to the Misfits 22 this week, which is almost like confessing that you were watching kind of something that's forbidden, but we shall get into that a little bit later. Darren Till and Luke Rockhold, Tony Ferguson, Dylan
Joey Essex, I believe.
Joey Don Essex, he is now, against Numero. I mean, I know all their names. Obviously, I know all the names of those great UFC fighters who are coming to boxing. And it's been a very quiet week in the fight world. But what it has been is behind the scenes, there feels like there is some jiggling around the heavyweight division, which is always good to see.
Yes, you say boxing when referring to Misfits. Let's use that term very loosely.
All right, it's Misfits boxing. It's that.
Fighting. Let's use fighting.
Misfits fighting and general cajoling and troublemaking at press conferences and thereafter.
Don't worry, we'll talk about the circus a little bit later on, and we're going to juxtapose that with some proper stuff, because obviously we're going to talk heavyweights in a minute, and then in around about an hour, I think it's only fair that we start revving it up towards Canelo and Crawford, the super fight that everybody's extremely excited about. Myself and Gareth will be in Las Vegas for that, getting you closer to the action. So stick around. There'll be proper conversation. There'll be stuff that winds you up. There'll be stuff that you can contribute to. This is your show as much as it is ours, so please feel free to come and join us at any particular point. And as I said, we are streaming on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel. We'll start with heavyweight, shall we? The dancing heavyweight that is Mr. Usyk, of course, the best fighter on the planet, in my opinion. We will talk pound for pound greatness later on and where he ranks. For many people, he might be top of that particular tree. He is the king of the heavyweights. He was the king of the cruiserweights. He's now the king of the heavyweights. And we are awaiting his next call. I think he's earned the right to decide his own future. Now, the WBO called the mandatory slot for Joseph Parker. That is scheduled to be the next fight. However, Mr. Usyk said, listen, I've got a few niggles from my last knock against Mr. Dubois. I just need a little bit more time. So he was granted 30 extra days in order to come up with his plans, really, for what he wants to do in the heavyweight division. And then this week, he's been, was it at a concert or a party or something like that he has been seen enjoying himself, being full Usyk and giving it the old two-step, which thoroughly entertained me. But, of course, then that raises questions with Team Parker and a few other people as well as to, is he really injured? What the heck is going on? We need to move the division on. What have you made of the conversation in and around Alexander Usyk this week?
Well, it's fascinating, Adam, because Alexander Usyk's dance skills extend to elite level. And, you know, we've seen him dance almost like a ballerina or a ballet dancer in the ring, a Nureyev at times. We've seen him do the crazy, wild house dancing,
bit of drum and bass in Poland,
drum and bassing,
we saw all that,
kind of the totally out of control, in control dance that he does with one of his trainers, with his strength and conditioning trainers. That first kind of emerged in Poland when he fought Daniel Dubois.
Yep.
Where he was brilliant on stage, and he shows it now in every workout session. But this was a traditional folk song, I think, from Ukraine. And
right.
he was doing that footsie-hootsy.
Didn't look like he had any mobility issues.
No, not any. And he had that amazing balance. And obviously it raised the question and begged the question from Joseph Parker's people, because that WBO belt is in question with Joseph Parker, who's the interim champion, raised by Mr. Higgins, Joseph Parker's long-term manager stroke quasi-promoter, Mr. Higgins, David Higgins, that why are we watching Usyk looking like an elite level folk dancer when he should be dancing with my guy in the ring? So what do I make of it? I think he's just buying time to make his decision. And Gustavo Olivieri, the man who's taken over, he's the new guy at the World Boxing Organization, the new CEO,
He's the former
president.
lawyer, actually, isn't he, of the WBO?
He is. And he's taken over from Paco Valcarcel, who's well into his 70s now. And he's saying, look, there's not really a lot we can do, because we want this guy to have a good look at the heavyweight division, who the opponents are. He is the undisputed king of the division. He's done it twice. He's had a belt stripped from him by the IBF, the International Boxing Federation, who've got a habit of doing this because they want to release their belt as soon as
in the
possible.
past, that is, that you're talking about.
In the past, they've been like that. So I think at the moment, Usyk's buying time. He's buying property. He's buying land. He's buying space to have with his family. And I don't think, given what he's achieved so far, any of us really begrudge that. But what we will want is some kind of resolution soon on who he is going to face next. I mean, it's not that long ago that he beat Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
It's only 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, isn't it?
Less than that, I think.
It's less than that.
Yeah.
It feels 6 or 7 weeks ago. And I think he deserves another fight maybe by the end of the year. And that's what we're looking at.
He's the king of the castle. And I think there's been a lot of noise made in and around this, mainly because, as Gareth said right at the top of the show, it's been a quiet week. There's not much to talk about. There's not much movement in the heavyweight division. We do want movement, of course we do. We want fights. We're greedy, aren't we, as fight fans? We want to see more of it. Alexander Usyk has earned the right to do what the heck he wants. And I think everybody's actually playing this correctly. Obviously, Joseph Parker wants a shot at a world title. Completely get that. So I understand why he is pushing the narrative in order to try and speed that along a little bit, because he's been waiting very patiently. Alexander Usyk, as Gareth just pointed out, has just beaten Daniel Dubois. He deserves a rest. If he wants to, kick back and just analyse what's going on and then make his decision, he's not ready to make his decision yet. Who's going to begrudge him that? It's not like there's unfinished business in the heavyweight division for Alexander Usyk. He's mopped it up. He mopped it up at cruiserweight on the road. He mopped it up on the road at heavyweight. He's one of the very few fighters on the planet that I will back that he is in control of what goes on. Yes, meritocracy. Yes, rules and regulations and all these types of things do come into conversations with other fighters. But when it comes to Usyk, because he's proven himself time and time again, he, for me, gets a little bit more leeway. Yes,
but
yes, there's rules. I get this.
Yeah, the big one on Alexander Usyk and a term that you like to coin now, which you use regularly, commerciality.
Yeah.
Which means money fights. What we have to look at the moment, and what he is definitely looking at with his new team, with Sergei Lapin, who heads that process with him, and Egis Klimas, his manager, is what works for him commercially at the moment.
Yes.
We're not going to have Moses Atauma against him next. That's not going to happen, in my view, unless a certain Saudi Arabian who this week in Boxing News was voted the #1 most influential character in the sport.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
I'm upset that you're not in the top 50. What's going on?
I tell you, was very pleased they were in the top 50 was Lee Eaton, who came in about
influential manager, and now
he was
obviously
crowing about it, and he deserves it. And
yeah, absolutely.
He's a very, very brilliant nuts and bolts matchmaker and head of boxing now at Queensberry, who are very big on the heavyweight division. But if that certain Turki Al-Sheikh suddenly came on board and said, I can make that fight happen, and obviously he's occupied right now with events in Las Vegas that we will be at, as you rightly say, for Canelo and Crawford in 2 weeks' time. If he offered enough money to Alexander Usyk and Moses Atauma, I think they'd find it very, very hard to say no. I got a feeling, my instinct is it isn't going to happen next, but we were talking about this before we came on air, and the other options out there, apart from Ajit Kabayel and Fabio Wardley and Joseph Parker, which are not the biggest money fights for Alexander Usyk, there's the little matter of teasing Tyson Fury back into a ring. Now, could we see Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury next while all the others battle it out?
Well, I think the commercial aspect of this conversation most certainly comes to the fore. From an Usyk point of view, I don't think there's anything left to prove when it comes to beating the best.
The athleticism of it, yeah.
He's done that. So if his choice is now, I want to make the most amount of money. I've got 2 fights. Let's say I've got 2 fights left before I clear off. I want to make the most amount of money. Now, I've said this before on this show. There's challenges, of course. Joseph Parker's a challenge. Moses Atama's a challenge. Fabio Wardley's a challenge. Ajit Kabayel's a challenge. These are the guys that you would probably say that are on that cusp of maybe challenging him. They are challenges. But do they make him the most amount of money? Or if the most amount of money is a fight that he's already won, in my opinion, comfortably twice, why would he not take that? I.e. the Tyson Fury knock.
He's 5 months from being 39. He's definitely coming to the end of his career, even though he's looked amazing in his last 6-7 contests. But there's a leeway that we are both giving him right now, and we're doing it for a reason, in that he's proven himself, that we all tacitly buy into in boxing, because he's been priced out of the fights with Joseph Parker and Ajit Kabayel and Fabio Wardley because of the amount of money brought in by the Saudi Arabians and their investment in the last 22 months. But in real terms, and if we're being completely honest about the way the sport should run, he should now fight Joseph Parker.
Correct, I agree.
He should fight Ajit Kabayel. And those should be his next 2 fights.
I agree.
Because they've proven themselves over the last 2 years that they are the number 2 and 3 in the division. Tyson Fury's in abeyance because he's retired, and Daniel Dubois slid down the snake and needs to climb the ladder again. And whatever you say about boxing, and I've been round in it so long, I almost let it run as it is. And I know sometimes you raise things that should be raised because you're newer in the sport and you're very closely aligned to UFC and MMA as well, and things happen quicker. In many ways, Usyk should either leave the sport or face Parker and Caballero.
Yeah.
And that's what should happen.
That's what should happen. I doubt that it will.
And no, it won't.
But what I would hope, and especially with the noise, I've been actually quite impressed with the WBO's noise. It's very rare that I get impressed or actually give a round of applause to a sanctioning body. But I think they've dealt with it right. They called for the fight. They've done that correctly. Then they've allowed the champion, who is an elite champion, a little bit of extra time. Now they're questioning that time that they've granted. And I would imagine that if Usyk can't come up with the answers to satisfy them, then Joseph Parker's next fight, whether it's Usyk or not, will be for the WBO world title.
I'm not pouring scorn on his injury, and his doctor will produce medical evidence
No doubt.
that there's probably some kind of strain in there anyway. But dancing is different to fighting.
Of course it is.
So I think we have to give him a bit of leeway there.
Of course. Listen, I think it's all going to come out in the wash, this. It's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit more patience. Joseph Parker has started his camp. So he's heading towards a fight late October that we are being told. We're going to talk about the possibilities of who that might be in a moment or two. We'll also go through the nuances of how this heavyweight division might just play out over the next 6 to 12 months with or without an Alexander Usyk still involved in the game. So stick with us. If you've got any thoughts yourself, you're more than welcome to come and join us. We're streaming live on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel. You know it's Saturday night when the trance tunes are out. Taking you to Ibiza. I'm Adam Catterall. Gareth Davies alongside me. It is Fight Night on TalkSport and the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel. We're talking heavyweights. We've just been speaking about Usyk and his current situation, whether he isn't injured, whether he's just biding a little bit of time. One thing that is absolutely for certain, and I've seen this float on social media this week, people saying that he's ducking certain fighters. Alexander Usyk don't duck anybody. He's served his time. He's absolutely rewritten what is possible in the cruiserweight and heavyweight divisions. He's one of the greatest fighters that has ever walked earth. And if he wants a little bit of time to make his next decision, he's more than entitled to do that. I just think that the guys and girls that run the sport of boxing just need to adhere to their rules. And listen, Usyk's entitled to time, but also other fighters shouldn't have their careers held up just because a fighter is taking some time. So with that in mind, let's say Alexander Usyk says, do you know something, gang? Not going to have another fight in 2025. I'll come back in 2026. I'll let you guys crack on. With that then in mind, I would expect the WBO to say, give us the belt back and we'll move that division on. I'd even expect the WBC to do a very similar thing. Maybe even the WBA, because they've got a situation there as well. And do you know something? I don't think many people will be fussed about that. Everybody knows who the king of the division is. It's Alexander Usyk. He doesn't need 4 belts wrapped around his waist for anybody to think that. He's got the Ring Magazine belt. Everything's hunky-dory. We'll see you in 2026. So how then does the landscape then start to move? Now, last week we were talking about the possibilities of a vacant WBO fight, obviously involving Joseph Parker because he is the interim champion and he would absolutely be the guy that is fighting for that vacant championship, or maybe even upgraded himself if Usyk was to renege it. Who would be the opponent that he fights? Now, Moses Atama sits at number 1, doesn't he? And we were talking about that particular possibility. But there's a few things that have happened this week. I've listened to a few people. I've had a few conversations myself. And it doesn't feel that Parker Itama is the warm fight. Don't get me wrong, I think it could be a possibility, but it doesn't feel like it's the fight that is going to definitely happen next if Usyk reneges those championships. It feels like maybe they're going to bring in some other fighters to take on a Parker for that championship belt.
Well, obviously, we discussed this last week in parts, and it is being talked about behind the scenes that Filip Hrgović is someone that the Warrens, principally Frank, his promoter, and Francis, his manager, would like him to face.
Itama, this is.
Moses Itama, yeah, of course. But that the cuts sustained to Hrgovic's eye in the fight with David Adeleye in Riyadh precludes him from fighting probably till about December, maybe even longer. So they want him in with someone else. In the last week, the Dong King espoused fight, or fighters under his umbrella still, have been withdrawn from the Vegas event September the 11th by TKO in Turkey. So that Michael Hunter, Jarrell Miller doesn't go ahead now. Jarrell Miller's a great opponent for Moses Itama next, in my view.
Was it not Jared Anderson and Jarrell Miller? Is that not what it was? Because is it not
Jarrell
Anderson
Miller
that was supposed to be with Hunter?
I thought it was Jarrell Miller.
I thought it was the Battle of the Big Babies, and because he had the contract for the Hunter Anderson fight, that's why.
Well, yeah, maybe I stand corrected.
Either or, it's fallen off. We definitely know that it's off that card.
Maybe I stand corrected there, because for some reason in my mind right now it was Jarrell Miller and Michael Hunter. But the point, like you say, it might have been Jared Anderson. But if Jarrell Miller's free, that's the perfect opponent.
For Itama,
for Itama right now, rounds in the bank. Can he put him away? Can he put him away quicker than other people have put him away? That would be a great learning fight for him, in my view, or rounds in the bank. When you talk about the other guys, Adam, we've got Fabio Wardley, interim champion with the WBA, Ajit Kabayel, interim champion with the WBC, Joseph Parker, as you already mentioned, really, interim champion with the WBO. They may all end up fighting in a round robin and may emerge, and that's why Usyk may end up fighting the best of those eventually next year if he has another fight or 2 more fights or 3. If he has 3, it'll probably be Fury, Moses Itama, and one of those, Kabayel, Parker, or Wardley. How big they'll be, I don't know in terms of commercial value. The biggest one is Fury against Usyk. But arguably, if Moses Itama gets hold of a belt by early next year or the spring of next year, Moses Itama against Alexander Usyk, late summer to autumn next year, when Usyk's closing in on 40, we're talking 12 to 14 months from now. It's far too early for Moses Itauma by all the books on earth, but it may not be in terms of what it presents as a spectacle.
Yeah, listen, from an Usyk point of view, he can do what he wants for me. So if he takes some time out, I'm really interested to see that.
But do you want him to fight Itauma? Would you like to see that in the early autumn of next year?
As a boxing fan, absolutely, yeah.
I would.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I'd like to. I'd like to see Alexander Usyk fight Joseph Parker. One, I think Joseph Parker's earned the opportunity to fight the best guy on the planet. And I think it's the next best challenge for Alexander Usyk. But I'm coming at that from a hardcore boxing fan point of view. Commercially, I don't think it works for Alexander Usyk. We've got to accept that this is a business as well as a sport. So whatever Usyk decides, I'm happy with, because he's proven to me that he is the main guy.
But he's going to have to earn half the money that he's earned in recent fights, unless the Saudi Arabians are involved.
I agree. So
35 million as opposed to 70, something like that.
Still a lot of money in it.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
But what you've just said there, I completely agree with. If Usyk is not in this picture and he is taking a rest and he's just stepping to the side for 6 months, 9 months, whatever it may be.
That's too long.
That's his choice. That's his choice. What I want is the sanctioning bodies to do what they need to do. But I also want the promoters to say, well, hang on a minute, we're not going to navigate this system. We're going to put the best contenders in with each other. So if they make Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley, I'm absolutely on board with that.
I love that fight.
Well, Fabio Wardley's earned his stripes. He's the interim WBA guy. You've got the interim WBO guy. I don't understand all these alphabet belts and politics getting in the way of stopping and making fights. That's been happening for far too long. No, let's just get the best guys in with the best guys. If we can't have Usyk Parker, then absolutely Parker versus Wardley or Parker versus Catterall is the fight to be making. And if that is something that we get before the end of the year, I think boxing's in a really healthy place if that's how we're moving the division on. And hopefully the odd man out in that, so there's three of them obviously, the other guy gets himself a top fight. So let's say it is Parker Wardley. Catterall then hopefully gets his shot at his WBC full crown if the sanctioning bodies do their thing.
Daniel Dubois, we were mentioning it.
Well, that really does become interesting.
That's been teased as well, isn't it?
Well, that becomes really, really interesting because we've got a situation where Lawrence Okoli holds the number one slot. But if anybody's been paying attention to the WBC rankings this week, obviously with Daniel Dubois getting beat off Alexander Usyk, he's now no longer the IBF champion and therefore he becomes accessible to the other sanctioning bodies. He's been shoehorned straight in at number 2 with the WBC, which kind of tells me something's cooking.
Oh, it's an indication of something cooking. There's no question about it.
So if we get this, if we get Parker versus Wardley before the end of the year and we get Catterall versus Daniel Dubois, boxing's in a really healthy place.
Heavyweight boxing's in a really healthy place. And if heavyweight boxing's in a healthy place and those two fights happen, I completely agree with you. We are on course for a great 2026 then.
So then, where are you at with Moses Itauma? Just remind me of that. So that's the scenario with the championships.
He fights a Philip, we can't say Philip Hrgovic at the moment because of the cut eye.
Yeah.
So a Jarrell Miller in November.
Okay.
And then he still floats there at number 1 in the WBO. I mean, goodness gracious, he's number 2 with the WBA. And where is he? He's way down at number 9 with the WBC. Well, so he can fight the winner viably of Wardley. And they've got to make this fight, sorry. If Wardley beats Catterall and the fight for him to have next is the winner of that for the WBA belt, but more likely it'll be the WBO.
I've got something
the winner of Parker and who are we saying? Sorry, Parker and
Wardley.
Parker and Wardley, Catterall and Dubois. If he fights the winner of either of those for a world belt, I'm happy. And then the movement forward is, come on Usyk, come and fight Itauma.
Okay.
And in the meantime, maybe he's fought Tyson Fury.
Okay. So
let's fantasy matchmaking here.
This is what we're doing, and we want people to get involved with it. So if you're watching on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel, just get in the comment section, bang away, and we'll bring
give us a call.
We'll put it in the show. So let's say we get Parker and Wardley, we get Catterall and Dubois.
Mm-hmm.
What about this? You just mentioned something there that I hadn't thought about previously, because let's be honest, Frank Warren and Queensberry are running this heavyweight division right now. They've got all the best heavyweights, so therefore the matchmaking should be relatively straightforward if they're all under the same umbrella. Now, I'm not saying this fighter is a Queensberry fighter, but you've just mentioned there the WBA. Now, my initial thought would have been Fabio Wardley because he's the interim champion, but if we're bringing Fabio Wardley over here to fight Joseph Parker, could Moses Itauma go the other way? Could he fight Kubrat Pulev?
Yeah. Yep, that's a good fight for him. And also Stephen Sorby, who's a regular commentator towards us, is saying, what about Bakoli or Zhang as well for Moses Itauma?
Oof.
I don't mind either of those. I don't mind either of those either.
I think they're going to be in the mix somewhere in the conversation with all the fighters that we are making there. Listen, we've seen Daniel Dubois this week, haven't we, in Frank Warren's office with his manager Sam Jones. They are alluding to something big. If it's the Caballel fight, I'm extremely excited. There's other possible names that you can maybe put in there with Daniel Dubois on his comeback from the defeat to Alexander Usyk. But I would love if they decided to go straight back in for an opportunity to fight for the WBC belt against Ajit Caballel, if that is to come to fruition.
Here's the overarching umbrella about all of this as well. If we can sit here and make these fights, they should be making these fights right now.
Well, it's a lot easier said than done, isn't it?
But sometimes it's easy to do rather than say. And it's about time we got a bit of movement. And we do need it by the end of the year, in my view. Because there's too many people sitting back right now on their big heavyweight backsides in fights that they could be in, particularly a Mr. Joseph Parker. How many rounds has he had in the last 6
I don't think that's his fault, though.
No, it's not. But it's the fault of promoter, manager, people looking after him. He's got to take a risk. His trainer. They've got to. Andy Lee, Spencer Brown, Frank Warren can easily push Parker into a big fight.
Well, they did.
He might be reticent about it. Derek Chisora was trying to pick a fight with him, by the way, wasn't he? Out in Riyadh.
I don't need to see that.
No one cares about you. No one. Derek needs a fight as well.
I don't need to see Parker Chisora again. Do you?
Well, if Parker wants that fight, he could take that.
Why?
Where's Chisora?
We're just giving him the Wardley fight.
We're
just giving him the Wardley fight. Why do we need to get Derek Chisora in with Josie Parker again? We don't need to see that, surely.
We don't. But what I'm saying, it's just another option. If he wants to clear,
I don't want that option.
Well, Derek Chisora was clearly picking a fight with him in Riyadh.
Well, listen, Derek
looking
Chisora,
to pick a
Derek
fight.
is a fan's favourite, and I'm sure that people want to see Derek compete. But for me,
what about Jaya Patara at heavyweight for Derek?
No.
Is that like Moses Itauma against Dillian White?
Well, Jaya Patara, I think, has got unfinished business at cruiserweight. He wants to be. Last time I spoke to him, he wanted to be the undisputed champion there, and there's fights there for him that absolutely should be made. If he's not struggling with the weight, stay at cruiserweight, go mop the division up, and then maybe at a later stage do what Alexander Usyk's done and come up and see if he can mix it.
I'm just throwing it out there. Just throwing
you causing bother. We've made the fights, mate. We've made them.
Okay, I'm happy with those. I'm happy with those fights. If we get 60% of the fights that we've made tonight in the next 8 months, we are sailing in the heavyweight division.
I think we might get more than that. I think we're going to get some news in the next month or so, definitely. There's a couple of other names that we've missed there, and I want to bring them up in conversation in the next section, so do stick with us. One of them is obviously Anthony Joshua. We didn't mention his name once in that conversation. We didn't mention Andy Ruiz's name either, and Andy Ruiz is back in training and, looking
like a super middleweight.
Well, he looks relatively good, yeah. So is he someone that you can bring into this conversation when you're talking about Moses Itauma and people like that? Anyway, we'll get stuck into that next. Don't go anywhere. It's Fight Night on TalkSport. I'm Adam Catterall. Gareth A. Davies is alongside me. Now, I said this last week, and I enjoyed it, so we're going to do it again. This is your show as much as it is ours. So if you want to contribute to it, you're more than welcome to do so. We'll try and make this a regular thing on Saturday night whenever we're sat in the studio. My little box is not working here for the phone lines. I don't know what's going on here. I can't see anybody's...
Arslan. I can see Arslan boxing fan on the mobile.
That's not what I was referring to.
Oh, sorry, sir.
I was referring to my little buttons here. They'd switch me off. Now I can control Arslan coming onto the show. Arslan, how are you, mate?
I'm all right, pal. How are you?
Very well indeed. Thank you very much for giving up some time to come and join us, buddy. What do you want to talk about, mate?
Basically, I'm a big fan of the channel, and I watch all the videos between yourself, Simon, Gareth, and Addy. And I'm a huge boxing fan, and I was listening to what you're saying in the last segment about Moses Atalma and potential opponents moving forward. Obviously, I'm a big fan of boxing. I think personally, I'd love to see him in a fight next to someone like Andy Ruiz Jr.
Nice.
I think Andy Ruiz obviously a big name from the Joshua fight. Hits hard, fast hands. I think even some rounds. I think that would allow us to see whereabouts Moses is at as well. I know he's got a bit of, I won't say criticism, but a bit of backlash from the Dylan White fight, because we all expected him, the White to take him a few rounds, test him a bit, see what his chin's like, what stage he goes out when he gets around 7, 8, and 9. And we didn't see that. And there was a lot of talk about, obviously, Atalma maybe next year going fighting someone like Usyk. But I think a great test for him now would be someone like an Andy Ruiz Jr.
Mate, I think
that's a good call.
I think you're bang on.
He's a former world champion, not forget, who beat Anthony Joshua.
You've got that barometer that you can use.
Definitely. He's got fast hands. He's looked brilliant at the moment. I've seen him on the pads recently and on the bag, and he looks like he's got an appetite for it again. Maybe he's run out of money.
Maybe.
I think it's a good test. I think he would get rounds out of Andy Ruiz. I like that. Brilliant call, Arslan.
Sammy, how are you, mate?
Good evening, gentlemen. Pleasure speaking to you again.
Nice one there. Thanks for coming back on the show, buddy. What do you want to speak about?
Yeah, I just think I like this. The undisputed fights, it looks so good on the outside. I mean, we love it during the fight week. It does us quite casual boxing fans the day after no good, because we have to wait even longer, and the boxers have to wait even longer to get their shot. The Fabio Wardleys, the Catteralls, Teresa Parker. So I wouldn't mind not seeing an undisputed fight for the next year or two, and see these fighters getting a chance at the world titles and even defending world titles.
Yeah, I think he's putting his finger on a very good point there, Adam, which is at least it keeps the division moving, because what the undisputed does is give it a logjam like we've got at the moment. I'm with you, and you're talking about the belts fracturing right now, and really what we were having in terms of that discussion in the first 25 minutes of the show is, which is seeing Wardley fight for a world title, Parker fight for a world title, maybe Dubois fighting one of Parker or Caballel for a world title. At least the division's moving, and that scattergun approach to what's happening below, Fury retired and Usyk at one, at least we get some resonance in the division. I agree with you.
I understand the point. I'm not the biggest fan of belts, as you know. I like the idea of having one champion per division. I understand the point that Sammy's making there. Sammy and anybody that ringing the show tonight, I would like to think that they know their boxing and they know who the best guys are, as we do. As I said earlier on, we know who the top contenders are. We know who the best guys are. We just want them all fighting each other. For me, it doesn't matter if there's a belt on the line. I just want to see the fight. So, for example, if you make a Parker-Wardley fight, I'll sit here and go, I don't care what's on it. I just love the idea of seeing that fight.
Well, we're going to have 5 belts soon with the Unified Boxing Organisation with Dana White.
We don't need any more.
But the thing is, it's very hard to go back when you've come forward.
Of course, yeah.
To eradicate... There's only going to be more belts. I remember a time when there was the WBU belt and Ricky Hatton defended it.
IBU as well, yeah.
The IBO and all these belts. So they are there. They do have a place in the division. Some people in the sport will say at least it gives more boxers an opportunity to earn more and become a world champion. But there's a difference between being a world champion and being an elite fighter and an undisputed champion. And, you're not wrong in what you say, Adam. And like myself in the past, working very closely with the UFC. In the UFC, you have one champion.
It's just easier for the fans to understand.
And it's easier for the fans to understand globally. But also, we've just had the situation where John Jones held up the heavyweight division for nigh on 2.5 years. And it was difficult for them to act with alacrity and get rid of him because they wanted him to come back because he's so great. And I think we get this when anyone reaches, and it's only in fight sports, it doesn't happen in other sports, when someone reaches the pinnacle of the sport and they have extreme wealth and extreme fame and extreme praise for what they've achieved as an elite fighter, as an undisputed champion, they kind of sit on that sometimes. And it happens with everyone. And I think it's an inevitable thing because fight sports is an unnatural thing. It's not like any other sport.
Peter, welcome to the show, mate.
Oh, thank you very much. How are you doing?
Good, man. What do you want to speak about?
Fabio Wardley.
Go for it.
I live in Ipswich, and I've met him at one point. I think he was on his second or third professional fight. Really, really, really nice bloke.
Not if he's punching you in the face, he isn't, though.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. I see what he's done to
Justice Uni.
Justice Uni and the fight he had before that and the damage he done to him.
With Fraser Clark.
Yeah, but I think for him, he's just below that elite level. Well, he's definitely world class without a shadow of a doubt, but I think he's just below that elite level. He like with Justice Uni, he gave him. Justice Uni had him all ends up until he got knocked out.
But he's got elite level power, as Ben Davison says. He's the Deontay Wilder of British heavyweight boxing because he has got, not elite level boxing skills, but when you've got that kind of power, you're capable. And the dog that he's got in him, you're capable of beating anyone.
He's a fighter all day long. Oh God, yeah, he's a fighter all day long. He will never give up. He will never give up at all.
So will he be a world champion in your view?
With most of the time we're coming through, and I'm from East London, so he's from my neck of the woods as well. I can see a time of dominating the division after what he done to I'm useless with names and getting my thoughts in order takes a little while. So please bear with me.
Well, we will.
After what time he done in his last fight, and he's done that in every single one of his fights. I can't see anyone else other than a time of being top dog for as long as he steps into the ring for.
Can I ask you then very quickly before we've got to go to the next section? 2 questions. Who wins out of Parker and Wardley, Kabayel and Wardley, and Itauma and Usyk?
Oh, no. Itauma's gonna need a couple more fights, probably against Kabayel. I think Kabayel would beat Wardley, and I think Parker would beat Wardley. And funny enough, my wife is from same sort of region of the world as Kabayel as well. So we've got connections to various.
You're walking into a lot of problems in the next few days.
Listen, I can fully understand why Peter has that opinion of Fabio
fantastic.
Wardley, because you've just watched him have a fight with Justice Uni, and he was outboxed for a long period of time, but his skill set is a very unique skill set. My attitude towards Fabio Wardley is, maybe Peter is right, but he's earned the right. He's here on merit. It's not like somebody's giving him the opportunity, giving him the ranking that he has. He's been given opportunities. He's taken every single one of them, and he absolutely deserves to be eating at the top table. Whether he is successful at that top table, I don't know the answer to that, but he deserves to have a go.
We've been around him as well. It's an absolute pleasure to deal with. He is loving life. He knows that he missed out on 10 years of boxing skills from the age of 9 to 19. But he is taking this opportunity, and he's discovered the dog in him. He's a proper fighter.
He's entertaining.
And he's got so much power. He's so entertaining. And he gets the game.
Yeah, that's what you want.
I think he will become a world champion.
When you turn up to a Fabio Wardley fight, you're going to be entertained. Yeah. So he's earned the opportunity to be talked about amongst these people like the Kabayels and the Joseph.
Peter doesn't get in trouble with his wife.
No, I don't think
walking into Fabio Wardley tonight in a dark cobbled street in Suffolk.
Fabio will be sound with, don't you worry about that. Listen, don't forget, tonight 2 former UFC challengers swap the cage for the ring as Darren Till takes on former MMA world champion Luke Rockhold. in his boxing. It's not his boxing debut. It might be Luke Rockall's boxing debut, isn't it? That's live tonight on DAZN.
Boxing Update on TalkSport with DAZN, the global home of boxing.
Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
It's Fight Night on TalkSport. I'm Adam Catterall. Gareth Davies is alongside me. We've spoken for 45 minutes about proper heavyweight boxing. We're now going to take a little bit of a gear change. Apologies for this, but it is part of the landscape right now, and I'm sure that you've got your opinion on it, and you're more than welcome to come and join us on this topic of conversation on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel, so go and get yourself stuck straight in. I'm no doubt that if you've been listening to TalkSport throughout the whole course of the week, you'll have heard a couple of athletes on the show, on various shows this week, talking about Misfits, which is currently going on in Manchester. Darren Till, Tony Ferguson, two guys from the world of MMA and UFC, joined Drive and spoke about the crazy world that is Misfits.
I wouldn't step up to normal boxing more and get paid $5 grand off to be a pro. I'm earning absolute fortunes with Misfits, so I'm happy where I am in the circus.
Really? You make that much money in Misfits boxing? There's no need for you to step up to professional boxing?
Just bought an apartment in Dubai. Misfits are paying well.
Oh, wow. Okay. What's your plan? I mean, it's playing really well. So what's your plan then? Is it like 3-4 fights, or just see where this one takes you?
It was my last fight with Misfits, but because I've been so consistent with them, everything they've asked of me, I've done. This is my last fight on my contract, so I'm sure they're going to come back and offer me something, bigger.
I had asked my agent, Lloyd Pearson from Vayner Sports, as I was getting ready to go fight Michael Chiesa during the fight week, that, hey, when are we going to start boxing, Lloyd? And he put me in contact with Mams Taylor from Misfits Boxing. We talked on the phone, made it happen, and we found a good opponent. And here we are. We're fighting for a title this past weekend. Since I was little, I was not allowed to box. There was only like one boxing gym that was in Michigan that I wanted to go into. And my dad at the time, he had said that you're going to stay in wrestling, football, but you're going to stay busy, but you're going to play intercollegiate sports, so that way you can use that as your ticket, as a, I don't want to say like as a free meal ticket into college, but as a scholarship. I was good enough to be able to do that, and it was smart. And so it got me a good education, be able to do what I needed to do. And I've hit the speed bag since I was around 15, 14 years old throughout my whole entire life. And it was just a matter of time before I found myself inside the boxing ring.
Two gentlemen in action tonight from the world of mixed martial arts, stepping into the boxing ring, stepping into the world of Misfits. And I've got to keep checking myself every time I keep saying the boxing ring, because it isn't boxing. And this is where my headspace is at with it. I don't know where you're at, Gareth, but it's not sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. I think we've got to be really careful with the language that we use in and around. I think Misfits is actually the great name for it. I think it describes it absolutely perfectly. It isn't boxing in any way, shape or form. It isn't pro boxing. And as long as the lines aren't blurred, I think a lot of boxing fans have just got to get used to the fact that this is going to be part of our landscape.
Well, the build-up this week has been a disgrace, frankly, but very watchable. And I put those two juxtapositions together because there is a dichotomy here in that they have found a formulae, or formulae, plural, for making noise sell. This is the biggest card I can remember on Misfits. We've done a couple with TalkSport. When Tommy Fury fought KSI, we were there in Manchester. It was huge. We did millions in the numbers in the watch along, and I understand why. This week, Darren Till has been literally unhinged at press conferences and the like, storming over, ripping his shirt off, heading for Luke Rockhold. But it sells. We've had one guy threatening to kill another guy at the weigh-ins. We've had racist and homophobic comments all week. Look, I was there at the tough finale when Tony Ferguson beat Ramsey Nijem in 2011 in the Brock Lesnar series to win the Ultimate Fighter, and there on in. And what did he lose? His last 7 UFC fights before he came into boxing. And I sincerely hope he doesn't lose to Salt Pappy tonight, who was a massive overweight teenager when we first saw him in Misfits. And he's a massive advocate and follower of Manny Pacquiao, and he's originally a Filipino with a massive following. All these things come together to create the ingredients for a very watchable event, but for a certain audience. It's fight sports entertainment at its most bizarre. It is a hijacking of the platform of boxing. It was big all week. It was a quiet week in the boxing world, but some of the antics are a disgrace. But what they do is, if Frank Warren raises his hand or Eddie Hearn raises his hand and says, that's enough, the boxers know it's enough in our professional boxing arena. KSI sitting there with Mams Taylor, they never stop the noise happening. They want it to happen. It's going to be, it makes for school playground fights. And that's what it is. It does entertain. You've got to, like you just said at the beginning, preface it by saying this is not professional boxing.
No.
It is fight sports entertainment at one of the extreme ends of what fight sport is.
Yeah, I've only been to one of them. I went to the one where KSI fought two blokes in one night, and I went along in order because I found it unfair. Obviously, sitting in the studio, sitting on my high horse, saying this is rubbish and this is this, that, and the other. When I've never been to one, so I went to one and had a little bit of a nosy. And there was a lot of positives there, but there's also a lot of things that I came away thinking to myself, this isn't for me. And I'm quite happy sitting here and saying that this is not boxing. One, like I've said 2 minutes ago, the British Boxing Board of Control don't sanction it. It is a different sanctioning body that runs with this. Tag team boxing and 2-on-1 stuff, let's be dead straight about it. That's a circus. That's not what I'm buying into. Anybody that's even slightly educated on the sport of boxing knows full well that this isn't boxing. But that is the danger, because what we're finding is that there is a blurring of lines when you've got major broadcasters that are obviously talking about it and broadcasting it, and then you've got familiar faces from the world of boxing blurring into this WWE style of boxing. It does confuse the audience. The problem is that Misfits, the Misfits that are involved in this, and that's the right term, I think, for the athletes that are participating in this, they have huge social media influence, right? And as Gareth pointed out, some of the behaviour this week hasn't been the most desirable. They are role models to the younger generation. Those younger generations absolutely copy the behaviour of their heroes. The positive is that they might end up going to a boxing gym and trying boxing themselves. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Agreed.
The negative is that they might think it's acceptable to act like a bit of a prat in society, which we've seen throughout the whole course of this week. As a product, I actually don't have a problem with Misfits.
Finally.
No, because I'll tell you why, right? I strongly believe that anybody can benefit from participating in some type of martial art in any level. I actually think Misfits gets a lot of their matchmaking correct 50-50. If you look at this bill tonight, they're all much of a muchness. They're all set. It's basically glorified white-collar stuff. I would absolutely love if they had a real front-facing charity aspect to this. If they were like, yeah, we're going to do it, and I want to do 3 rounds because I've always wanted to box, and we're raising money for this charity. I think that would be an absolutely fantastic thing. Like I said, it would be a glorified white-collar situation for me. As long as the narrative and the noise in and around it is pitched correctly to the audience, where people are thinking to themselves, well, this isn't Canelo Crawford, is it? This is right down here, and it's a bit of fun, and it absolutely targets a completely different audience. I don't think it targets the hardcore boxing audience. Anybody that knows boxing ain't watching this tonight.
Well, Eddie Hall's there tonight, the world's strongest man. I've just seen Carl Froch roll up. Tony Bellew's there. There's people from the boxing world that are there. And let's not forget, because we haven't mentioned this, it's on pay-per-view on DAZN. What's it called? The home of boxing. So, yes, it's on the margins. Michael Rideout, one of their executives, is at the press conference sitting there this week, and we know Michael well, and he's been very involved with IMG and a lot of people for many years with the UFC. And as he said at the press conference earlier in the week, I don't think there's much for me to say here because I need all the chaos to just carry on behind me because I'm just getting in the way of it. So it has a place. It's evolved into this. It's Event 22.
Yeah.
KSI signed a 5-year deal with DAZN. Yeah. He's got a verified promoter in the Sauerland brothers, Kalla and Nissa, doing it. And I go back 25 years with those guys when they were involved with these German boxers. They all know what they're doing. And coming out of this tonight, and I still think we've got 3 or 4 fights left tonight, there is talk about Darren Till facing Andrew Tate in an event. I know, God forbid that becomes a huge event, but they've got their matchmaking and marketing right for the audience that they're trying to attract, which is maximum exposure through celebrity and through noise.
As long as, listen, we'll get to the Tate situation should it ever come to fruition. I've got strong views on that particular
me too.
As long as the pitch is right and people are fully aware of what they are watching, because at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, and it might, then it's boxing that gets dragged through the mud. But it isn't boxing. And that's the key thing that you need to keep ramming home to the audience. The British Boxing Board of Control do not sanction these fights. It's not on their watch. This is a completely different thing. As I said, it's glorified white collar where people are leveraging their celebrity and social media statuses through the fight sports game. Yes, it's to a completely different audience. Of course, they've got to think about the way that they are behaving. But for me, it isn't boxing. The boxing that we like to talk about, the stuff that we've just been speaking about in the heavyweight division, the stuff we're going to speak about in a minute with Canelo Crawford. Is it part of the landscape? Well, yeah. If you go back to last week's show, I told you why these things were happening, because there was a gap in the market and they've walked in and now they're having it away. I just hope people are fully understanding of what it is they're absolutely watching. I've no problem with anybody jumping in for a bit of titillation and a bit of a laugh and a bit of this, that and the other. But as long as there is a differentiation between proper boxing and social media fights, then I think we're going to have to ride it out. We're going to get back to some proper boxing. Can we talk about some proper boxing? Shall we talk about Canelo and Crawford? That's a super fight that everybody's excited about. We'll get stuck into that next. Don't go anywhere.
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City Dry Cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58 though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wind, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
It's Fight Night on TalkSport. I'm Adam Catterall. Gareth Davies is alongside me. Mick Conlan's going to be on the show in about 10 minutes. He's fighting next Friday night in Dublin. First man, if I'm not mistaken, to headline the SSE in Belfast and the 3 Arena in Dublin. First man to ever do that.
You're a mine of stats.
There you go. Mick Conlan. Anyway, he's going to be on the show in 10 minutes.
Hang on.
Go on.
In boxing, maybe.
Go on, who else has done it?
Hasn't James Gallagher done both in MMA?
For Bellator?
Maybe.
I'll have a look into that. But for boxing, definitely, Mick Conlan's the first guy to do it. Belfast
Nice
and
stat.
Dublin.
Nice stat. You're
Anyway.
not normally a big stat man. Cat the stat man.
And Sam Noakes is going to be in the studio as well in around about 20-25 minutes ahead of his fight with Abdullah Mason. Looking forward to having Sam on the show. Let's talk Canelo Crawford, shall we? Let's get back to the proper stuff, because in a couple of weeks' time, myself and Gareth jet out to Las Vegas to get you close as we can to the action. There's going to be plenty of podcasts, interviews, behind-the-scenes action from what is quite simply the super fight of the year. We've been quite blessed recently with all the super fights that we've been getting. The Beterbiev, the Bivols, the Fury and Usyks. And this, for me, is something that is absolutely mouth-watering. One, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas is the destination for this. 70,000, 80,000 people, hopefully packed in there to watch these two gladiators going at it. Both on the pound-for-pound top 10 list. We'll do that later on. Where they sit is down to you. But Saul Canelo Alvarez, the super middleweight king, taking on Terence Crawford. And an opportunity for Crawford to really shoot his star into superstardom. jumping up multiple weights to try and become the 168-pound champion. It is a fight for the ages. It's one of those that really does get you excited. I know that the generations before us, Gareth, have had some super fights themselves where people have dared to be great. And this just feels like a moment in time that I think we're both very fortunate to be on the ground in Las Vegas, to witness, be around. And I'm pretty sure that these two gladiators are going to serve up something pretty special for us.
Yeah, I mean, given that we're both there for the September the 13th event, and it's going to be one of the highlights of our career so far, in my view. It hasn't truly caught fire yet. I think it will as it gets nearer. The fact it's on Netflix and will probably do over 50 million views on Netflix. The shoulder programming, I understand, that they've been putting together is just phenomenal, which will run out episode by episode in Fight Week and reach out into the mainstream. I remember saying in my first chat to Terence Crawford, Bud Crawford, in Riyadh at the opening of the week of press conferences, because they did LA and Las Vegas. Oh, sorry, New York, LA and Las Vegas, or LA and Las Vegas, that for me, this is a moment where Marvin Hagler steps into the ring against Sugar Ray Leonard. Someone's coming up a few weight divisions. They're both greats. They're both going to go on to be all-time greats, and we are going to have a classic fight on our hands. My question at the moment is, who's been winning the mental battles in the build-up? Because I think it's seesawed a little bit. I loved the Canelo moment of saying to Terence Crawford, and this was before the press conference week, a series of press conferences, who have you fought who's truly elite? And the truth is, this is the elite opponent that Terence fighting. This is his big moment in his career.
Yeah.
Canelo's had his moments. It's a big moment for him. It's a big earning moment. But this is the moment for Terence to stamp himself as an all-time great.
Yeah, I think it's in stone that Canelo's already achieved that. The levels that he's gone through, the weights that he's gone through, and the opponents that he has been in with. He's come up short against a couple, but he's come through some big challenges as well through his, 65, 66 professional bouts since he was 15 years of age. There's no doubt that this is the biggest test of Terence Crawford's career, not only because of the weight step up, but also because of the level of the opponent. But anybody that's watched Terence Crawford's career knows full well how much talent this young man has. I mean, he is absolutely sensational, both as an orthodox and as a southpaw fighter. You can't really tell which is his favoured side. He's that good, the angles that he creates, and the way that he not only dissects people, but the way that he puts his foot down when he gets somebody hurt is
he's spiteful.
He's truly, truly impressive.
But what he also does, and this is where I think people are making the mistake with the fight with Israel Madrimov last summer in Los Angeles, was that Terence doesn't mind doing enough to win. He doesn't. If he knows he's got to win on points, he's happy to tuck everything neatly in the office and win round by round. It reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. It reminds me of Pernell Whitaker. It reminds me of guys that win with ease without overstretching themselves, that don't have to get in a battle. But when he's got someone hurt, as you rightly say, he's spiteful. I'm not sure he'll get Canelo hurt in this fight, but if his timing and his movement are on, the slightly slowed Canelo, who likes to load up these days, could find himself frustrated by Terence Crawford.
Yeah, and there's also the aspect of when he is behind. I mean, we've all seen that famous clip where he's fighting Sean Porter. Somebody sells him ringside. They've got him down on the cards. He goes through the gears and stops Sean Porter in the very next round. There's also that element to him. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. But he's also fighting someone that's equally as brilliant. A very different type of style, Canelo.
And a fan favourite. And an Allegiant Stadium favourite, probably favoured by 70-30 in terms of fans that will be in there. Yes. Mexican holiday weekend. Yeah. Traditionally, he owns in September, which Mayweather once owned. Yep. Manny Pacquiao fought around these times.
What are you insinuating, Gareth?
Well, that I think the odds will be stacked in favour of Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah. I think anybody that's watched enough boxing, we can sit here and make arguments for both fighters. If we were just judging the nuances of the fight, you can make those arguments. And if anybody's picking Terence Crawford, I would not argue against you, because he's got the skill to negate the weight difference.
But he's not the house fighter. The house fighter is Canelo.
And that's the problem. Can you really see Terence Crawford winning a decision over Canelo Alvarez in Las Vegas on a Mexican bank holiday weekend.
I can see Terence Crawford in mine and yours minds as we sit together waiting to do our post-fight podcast and broadcast after doing Fight Night on September the 13th. I can imagine us going, oh, we both had Terence winning by 2 rounds there. Maybe one judge has it that way, but the other 2 judges have it a round or 2 for Canelo. And we've seen it before. We saw it in the first Gennady-Golovkin fight. Yes, I think Canelo won the second 2, particularly the second one third one very handily, the second one just. But for me, he lost the first fight to Gennady-Golovkin, clearly 7 rounds to 5, or even 8 rounds to 4. And yet, the judges still saw it in his favour. He's had a long and decorated career. I go back to the days of watching him on the undercard of fights when he fought Miguel Cotto's cousin, or brother or cousin. And I remember the late great Don Chargin said, you must get down there when there's a man and his dog in the arena at the MGM to watch this young Mexican kid. He's got amazing body shots. He was promoted by Oscar De La Hoya at the time. And you know what? He got hit by about 20 right crosses in the first round. I thought, what am I watching? And then he came back and stopped him in about the 10th round. But he's gone on to be very, very special. I think he has an aura. I think he has an amazing aura to be around.
He's the face of boxing, mate.
He's a very calm man to be around. He always gives you the same amount of time and care when you speak to him. He's got better and better and better. He's become more endeared to us as he's learnt a little bit of English.
Absolutely.
He's a modern great. But that is why, if Terence can do this, it's an extraordinary victory. It's like Sugar Ray Leonard beating Marvin Hagler, who sailed off into the sunset to make spaghetti westerns in Italy, never to be seen in a ring again.
It's a special fight. Listen, it's a special fight. We'll be on the ground in Las Vegas, getting you closer to that action. I'm sure you've got your own thoughts on it. What do you think? Get stuck into the comment section.
Before we go, who have you got right now?
I think Canelo edges a decision, officially. But we have that debate where we think that Crawford's won the fight.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. Okay. Do you see me wrong?
No. But I'm still edging. I'm still edging towards Crawford, weirdly. But
oh, mate, I think at the end of the fight, I'll sit there and go, Terence Crawford's won that.
I think he might outbox him, but I'm not sure he'll get the decision. I'm with you on that.
We will find out on September the 13th. Coming up next, a man that's fighting next Friday, Mick Conlan. He's going to be on the show. Don't go anywhere. Now then, our biggest competition today is now live, where you can win the chance to go and see Oasis, and we're giving you the opportunity to win £25,000 as well. We're going to give 2 winners, not 1 but 2, a pair of tickets to go and see Oasis on the 27th of September, and as well as that, there's 25 grand in your back pocket. I say your back pocket, you won't be able to get 25 grand in your back pocket. In your bank, we'll call it your bank. Yeah? For all the details of how to enter this amazing competition, listen to this.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a TalkSport limited promotion run on TalkSport, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
There you go. Best of luck with that. Now, we were supposed to be speaking to Mick Conlan. However, we're struggling to get hold of him at the moment. He's fighting on Friday night coming against Jack Bateson. This fight taking place in Dublin. He's staying at £126, even though there was a lot of opportunity, I would no doubt, for Mick at 130. But he's staying at 126 because in previous interviews that he's done, he believes that there's a world title inside him. Well, we'll find out on Friday night, because Jack Bateson is absolutely no joke. It's a top night of fights and a big opportunity for Mick Conlan to do his thing. And as I said a moment or two ago, the first man in the boxing ring to have headlined at the Belfast SSE, and next weekend the 3 Arena in Dublin. Interesting time for Mick, because he did spend a year out of the ring, and we kind of thought that maybe that was it, off the back of the defeats to Jordan Gill. But he went away. I think he set some crazy records with marathon running times. I think
he's a blooming good runner.
I think he did it in under 3 hours, which was absolutely ridiculous.
10,000 metres, 12K, just brilliant runner. Built beautifully for that, isn't he?
Maybe that's the
marathon
next career.
running.
Maybe that's the next career. We'll see him doing all that. But he seems to have gone away, got himself together, and then he came back in March, didn't he, with a little 8-rounder, just to get himself back on the horse, get the confidence going again. And this Friday coming, he's in a proper fight, because Jack Bateson's a good fighter. Not necessarily the knockout power from Jack Bateson to cause that threat, but he's a technically gifted fighter, and he will definitely pose some problems for Mick. And if Mick can come through and he can look really good next Friday, with his name that he carries in this sport, I've no doubt that he'll be thrown around with a couple of 126 shots.
Well, he went really well. He had the win against TJ Doheny, and that's 4 years ago now. And then he lost 3 and he won 3. And the 2 that he lost, the Lee Wood fight, which he was winning hands down, then got knocked out.
He's one punch away, mate, isn't he?
In one of the finishes of the year, the upsets of, well, the turnarounds of the year for the WBA featherweight title, the regular title. And then the loss to Luis Alberto Lopez, who'd given a lot of people weird problems with his movement for the IBF. And again, Jordan Gill, who's capable of being knocked out or knocking people out, a very, very exciting fighter. Those 3 losses, like I said, came back in Brighton with the Asad Asif Khan win. Done a load of running in the meantime, fit as a butcher's dog. And let's hope he can go well against Jack Bateson. He's one of my favourite fighters I've ever known, the young man. Commonwealth gold, Olympic bronze, the disgrace of one of the Olympic Games. Where
Rio, wasn't it?
Rio famously gave the finger, and Bob Arum spotted him and said, "I want you. You've got character." And he's got great character, and he's one of our favourites. I don't know if he's one of yours, but
yeah,
brilliant man. But where the devil is he tonight?
Well, he's busy. He's obviously preparing himself for a fight. He might be watching Misfits or something like that, keeping himself...
Joey Essex and Numero are fighting right now.
Don't start. I'll tell you one thing that has just come through on my phone that has now been confirmed. Obviously, we know that we're heading towards Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. Part 2. For the undercard, I'm seeing Jack Catterall against Echo Usman.
I like that.
Yeah, which is a fight which makes an awful lot of sense. Obviously, 2 guys that have got victories over the great Josh Taylor, and now they've put themselves against each other in order to move forward in the division. I think it makes an awful lot of sense putting these 2 together.
I ran into Echo, and he was saying that they were in talks for that in Riyadh, actually. And I'm glad it's come to fruition. But they're doing it at welterweight, aren't they?
I believe
it was
so.
Good for Jack.
I believe so.
Jack needs to start that movement. Obviously, he's spoken about in glowing terms by his coach, Mr. Moore, and not Demi Moore, Jamie Moore, who really knows his onions about boxers, and it was brilliant to see him talking on Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver's show. It was either this week or last week, about Dave Allen, about Jack Catterall, about the stable that he and Nigel Travis had, and they don't leave a stone unturned there, and they really know their onions. And the way he was talking about Jack, I really enjoyed it so much. And obviously we know he's one of those guys that should have been an undisputed champion.
I've got some good news for you.
Go on.
Mick Conlan's here.
Oh, all right. That was why you were twiddling your finger around.
He's here.
Let's go.
He's ready to rock and roll.
Finally.
Mr. Conlan, how are you?
Well, boys, how's things?
Very well indeed, mate. Great to have you on the programme, obviously ahead of next Friday night. We were just talking about a stat there, and we were just racking our brains whether it was true or not, that you are the first man next Friday to not only have headlined at the Belfast SSE, but headlining at the Dublin 3 Arena as well. You're the first combat athlete to do that.
Yes, it's true. Obviously, I would say singers and stuff have probably done it, but I'd be the first kind of boxer to do it, so it's just good.
Mate, I've seen your ring walk. You're a singer as well, pal. You give it the big one as you're walking out.
I'm a 6-minute ring walk guy. Mine's take a long time.
Listen, where's the head at, mate? Because obviously we were just discussing there the year out that you took, and obviously the marathons and all that. But you'll come back in March this year. There was conversations in and around what weight that would be at, where you would compete. And I know that it was a catch weight earlier in the year, but this one's slated for 126. There's big opportunities at 130. Where's your head at, and why are you back down at 126?
I was always a 126 fighter. The only fight I've had at 130 was last minute, kind of 8 weeks notice and 6 weeks training. So I was happy to make 130 for that. But I'm a natural 126. I make the weight very easy. Well, it's never very easy, but it's easy enough. So that's where I want to win a world title as a featherweight. And then obviously, the possibility of going up is there. The options of going up is there. The fights are there. So there's always that option if I want it.
What? Sorry, just on the training element of this and that year out, you decided to come back with Grant in Sheffield. Grant Smith, Dalton's dad. What's he added? What's he added to the game?
It's not that he's like changing me or adding loads of things. Well, he is adding, but the tweaks which needed made and the mistakes which I know I make, I'm humble enough to say, yes, I'm not the perfect fighter. I know I'm making an awful lot of mistakes. And out of the few coaches which I tried, Grant was the guy pulling me up on the mistakes, and I went, he's the man, he's the right person, because he's pulling me up on these mistakes, which I know I make, but I get away with it a lot of the time. But the times which I haven't, it's cost me. So that was the reason. And then also as a human being and as a person, he's someone on my level. I really like him. I really respect him. And I think he's a proper top man.
Good evening, Michael. How are you?
Gareth, how's it going, my friend?
Very good. I was just saying to Adam, I just wonder, is this final push, if it is a final push to 33 now, when most fighters in your weight are coming to the end of their elite career, is it the push for a world title? And will you be happy with that then after an Olympic medal, a Commonwealth gold, a world amateur medal? Is it the push for a world title? Is that what you went away to think about and think about while you were running?
Yeah, listen, that was the reason. The only reason I'm back is for a world title. Like, I've been very smart outside of boxing and set myself up with different gateways to kind of step out into. So, it's not a money oriented thing where a lot of people would assume that. But mine's is to be a world champion. I know I have the ability. I know I have the pedigree and the skill set to do it. When I was doing the running, I was doing 20 miles up and down hills during the weekend in the rain, freezing cold, and I was like, "What am I doing this for?" I was doing it to break 3 hours in my first marathon, which I did, but it wasn't about that. It was about finding myself and finding what I really still wanted to do, and that was boxing and being a world champion. So that's the only reason I'm back. It's a last push towards a world title. And if I was to lose on that journey, that would be me saying, that's it, hasta luego, I'm gone, see you later, bye-bye, thank you. But, I do think that with this new team and how my mindset is now, I'm in the clearest headspace and in the best mental place I've been in a very long time and enjoying what I'm doing again. which is the main thing.
What did you learn about yourself in that year off when you're running about? What did you learn about yourself?
That I'm very stubborn. Very stubborn.
I think we knew that about you.
Yeah. Well, I learned it more. When you're trying to break 3 hours in your first marathon, I think it's a bit crazy, but
brilliant.
The fact that I went and done it was good.
Jack Bateson obviously stands in front of you next Friday night. What's the challenge there? What do you see in his game that you've got to negate?
Listen, Jack's a very good fighter. He's come up short once or twice, or once just, but he's been lingering around there. I know Jack a long time. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a great guy, but again, he's an opponent in front of me who I got to beat, and I'll beat him with all due respect and be very good doing it.
If I was to mention the 4 world champions at featherweight at the moment: Angelo Leo, IBF; Nick Ball, WBA; Stephen Fulton, who I believe has got a fight.
Gone up. He's gone up in weight. He
has just gone up. Yeah, which maybe puts Bruce Carrington now as the WBO in position, and Rafael Espinoza, WBO. If you were to choose one of those for yourself, stylistically, who would it be?
I like Leo stylistically. I like Fulton stylistically, but as you says, he's going to fight for the super featherweight WBC title, and I am going down the WBC route with this fight, which is WBC international title. So, the WBC route, I like Bruce Carrington too. I think he's a very good fighter, but I think there's a lot of things which he could do there too. So they're the two I like most, but any of them, any chance at a world title is where I want to be.
I tell you what, Shoo Carrington against yourself for a world title.
Lovely.
Ireland would be absolutely sensational, wouldn't
it? In New York, imagine that.
He's from New York. Mate, it'd be crazy.
Even better, wouldn't it?
Mate, obviously that's where the professional career started, mate. That would be sensational to be able to...
MSG, New York, Paddy's Day, who knows?
Wasn't Conor McGregor walking out? I think I was there that day. He caused a bit of a storm, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Up out of his seat, screaming at you for every second of every minute of every
That's where he got the Mayweather fight too, because that's where he shared it
at Dan Raphael and all
Dan,
that.
I am boxing. That was it.
I am boxing. Yeah. Hey, you boxing guy! I am boxing.
Mick, listen, all the best. It's great to see you happy and in this space, and obviously competing once again. I think a lot of people that listen to our show absolutely love watching you fight, mate. So we're looking forward to Friday night. Final one from me. How's the beer going, mate?
The beer's going fantastic, my friend.
Yes.
And,
you've got it. Listen, I saw it on a few shelves out in Ibiza while I was on my holidays this year, mate. You're doing all right, aren't you?
I'll be in Ibiza the week after the fight, having a few of them. So yeah, no, listen, it's going really well. Obviously, my goal is to get it to America, and me and my business partner, we're very on track to do that. And once I do that, that's game over. I've completed it, and I'm done.
Crack the game, mate. Listen, all the best. Enjoy this week, mate. Enjoy the week, and enjoy
best of luck.
The history-making moment, obviously, of headlining those 2 venues, one in Belfast and one in Dublin. Mick Conlan there, fighting this Friday night against Jack Bateson. Make sure you tune in into that. We've got a guest in the studio in a moment. Sam Noakes is going to be coming to join us. Don't be going anywhere.
good shot from Noakes again, and that back leg came swinging round. That's hurt him. 2 minutes to go in the round. He really felt the power of Noakes there. Really good shot right at the end of the round. Had him wobbling, a smile on the face of Sam Noakes.
Is Noakes about to do it again? It does look like it.
Winner by way of knockout and still undefeated, Sam Midge Noakes.
Hey, we've had a Brucey bonus on the show tonight, let me tell you. We told you that only Sam Noakes was going to be with us. His brother Sean's rocked up as well. Listen, we got 2 for the price of 1, so obviously we can talk about what's coming up with Sam and Abdullah Mason, and then we can get stuck into Sean as well with what's coming up for him. You listen to Fight Night on TalkSport. I'm Adam Catterall. Gareth Davies is here. Sam and Sean Noakes. Sam, I'll come to you first. How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you, mate. Thanks for having me again.
What are you looking for down the side?
Well, I was looking for headphones. I see
you don't need them. Yeah, no, you don't need them.
Well, yeah, I see you put them on. And
he put them on to look authentic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh, no, I ain't got any.
You're fine. Yeah, as long as you can hear us, you'll be right.
No, I can hear you guys, that's fine.
Listen, talk to me about the emotions of this, mate, because it's finally over the line. I know that you've been chomping at the bit for a long period of time to get that shot at that world title. It felt like a little bit of a mess with everything that was going on with Keyshawn Davis and what have you, but it's come vacant. You've been called by the WBO, and here we are rocking and rolling with Abdullah Mason in Riyadh on a super fight card. I mean, it don't get better than this, does it, mate?
I'm looking forward to it, to be fair. I mean, like, obviously, Keyshawn Davis missing weight all worked out. It all sort of lined up perfect for me because I know I was meant to fight John O'Carroll in August, which would have been a very good fight, and then it was all sort of lining up for maybe the end of the year, but then, you know how boxing works, it's changed at the hat. And then obviously he missed weight, and then I got elevated to number one with the WBO, and then, well, here we are, boys. But I've been trying to keep the excitement in because I've found out it's been like 16, 17 weeks I've known about it.
Yeah,
wow.
We've still got 12 weeks left, so we've still got quite... Yeah,
we had a villa in Rome for my birthday, and we were literally the villa we had looked out on the Colosseum. So we were sitting on the balcony, literally just waiting there, chilling out. And we got the call come in saying he's got the world title next. So what a moment it was! Literally, we looked out on the Colosseum, and then you got that call, and he had to steal me thunder on my birthday, didn't he?
To be fair, it was handy though, really being in Italy, because I could have a bit more carbs out there, so it worked out all right.
You have no choice when you're in Italy.
Yeah, I know, it's hard not to, isn't it?
Well, let's be honest, right? When that call comes in, you must have gone for some type of Rocky Balboa run at that particular time. Up the steps, around the Colosseum. You've got to do all that, mate. And you get that call, you've got to go.
There was rumours about me fighting Baranchik in December before, and I remember I got off the phone with my mum, and I was like, I was getting well emotional about it. I thought, like, it's happening, and then obviously it didn't. So with this one, I was like, right, I'm not counting my chickens just yet, because, you know, anything could happen. I thought I'm sitting tight, because everyone else was going mad, and I thought, right, I'm not having the same mistake, because I remember thinking, it's 95% done, I was getting told, and then it never happened, so sort of just get my feet on the ground with this one.
The weird thing is, I can remember doing a lunch. Francis Warren, your manager, organised a lunch with you two and Moses Itauma in Mayfair, if you remember. We went to a gentleman's club.
I beg your pardon, what?
We went to it was a gentleman's club.
All right.
There were gentlemen in there. There were gentlemen.
And we had lunch there, and like Francis was saying, these boys are going to be in world title fights within 2 years. And I was just saying to you when you came into the studio just then, as your brother forced his way in, was that that. Look how far you've come in 2 years. The Ivan Mendy fight came. That was a big fight for you. He's very experienced. You proved yourself. And like you say, in the last 8 months, you've been waiting for that call for world level. It is a step up. You and Abdullah Mason I've got as a 50-50, if that's all right.
No, yeah,
it's how you perform 100%. On the night. I've been around him.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around him a long time.
Out, mate.
He's died in the wall of fighting man like yourself. 5 brothers trained by their father. I remember when he first joined Top Rank. If you can perform right, you win a world title. It's as simple as that, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good fight for both of us, and I think the fact that it's vacant and we're both sort of in the same similar place in our career, I think is good. But as you said, like,
you've got your man strength. He might not have that yet.
The thing is, everyone always turns pro, don't they? And they're always like, right, I want to be a world champion. I want to be a world champion. And obviously, everyone sort of takes it with a pinch of salt. Like, probably you did them 3 years ago, but like,
I didn't. No,
I've always meant what I've said, and I feel like when these positions come up, I've not been nervous. I've not been like, I never said, let's think about, shall we take this or not? It was always like, right, boom, whoever that is. Yeah. Whether that be Keyshawn Davis or Shakur Stevens or any, as soon as that world title comes up, I'm taking it, and I plan on going out there and bringing it home with me as well.
Let me take you back 2019ish. This is pre-pandemic, pre-COVID. You're roofing. You're out there. You're doing a proper graft, because this is the beautiful thing about doing this show, right, we speak to lots of audience members and what have you, and everybody thinks boxers are multi-millionaires, they're living this life and all that type of stuff.
Live at home with me mum, mate.
Right. So let's talk about the realities of this. That's a big decision to make, you know what I mean? You're earning your living, you're up on the roofs, you're doing the graft on a day by day, you're in the gyms of a night time getting your work in, and then you make that decision. You think, right, come on, man, we're going for it. So take me back to that emotion, take me back to that time where you make that punt on yourself.
So I'll never really give it a lot of thought, boys. Like, it weren't like I started boxing when I was a boy and I was thinking all big superstar world title fights. I just sort of, so Sean done it first. My mum made me go.
Tell them why mum made you go.
Well, I'll just
tell them why mum made you go.
Is that what it was?
No, he was naughty.
You told me before that my mum likes me to go in the rings because it keeps me straight, because otherwise she'd be the one giving me the beating.
What was it? She don't get nervous when I fight because I don't think she minds me getting a clump because I'm annoying, isn't I?
That's the way around.
I'm annoying.
I'm the nice one.
All right.
He's the grumpy one.
Right. Yeah, I think it just sort of snowballed. Like Lee Owen took me on at Westbury and we just started. We had like 14 fights in a season, 13. I think I stopped like 8 or 9.
You had 7 fights in 2019, I think.
No, I wish that would have been nice. In 2019, I had 2 in 2019, then on February 22nd was my last fight, and then we went into lockdown, didn't we?
That's right.
Fury, it was the Fury Wilder. It was like we sort of run through to that. But I mean, when I struggle now, not the struggle, but you know when you get them days where I can't be bothered or I feel like, no, I'm not going to do that run, I'll just go tomorrow. I always have to think of that when I was young, 15, 16, getting up 5 in the morning, going to run before work, doing a day's collar, coming back, going boxing, going gym. And I always say, what would that little boy then, or my younger self say to me now if I'm going, I'll just do it tomorrow? He'd laugh at me, do you know what I mean? And that's what I have to tell myself, because people get comfortable. Like, I'm not in a position where I'm like obviously where I want to be, but you are like from where I was when I was 15, 16, thinking, dreaming. Like I'm sort of living that dream now, and I still have to remind myself that I ain't finished yet, and I've got further to go.
How much does this help doing this alongside your brother? Because you both have these big dreams and aspirations of all these things that you want to achieve.
But really, he's the reason I got back into boxing, because I had 5 years.
Break, didn't you? Yeah.
I had a 5 year stint out of the ring, and I remember coming back. I think it was his second national title he won. He boxed a fella called Jordan Flynn in the amateurs in the final. And one thing with my brother is if you tell him he can't do something, you go watch him do it. And everyone would rave, and he had a great amateur background, and he knocked him out in the set. Like, was it last round?
Third round, yeah.
Third round. And I remember I was always a weight above him, so I remember sitting there thinking, I'll watch the next fight and I'll see how they shape up. And I was watching the final and I was thinking, I'll come back and beat these guys. And it literally pushed me to do it. Dragged me on runs when I was like 87 kilo. Dragged me runs in a sweatsuit.
No more, though, mate.
So, and then that just pushed me on, spurs me on. And now it does. I see the titles he's got, the accolades he's achieved, and that just spurs me on as well.
Oh, accolades, yeah.
Do you analyse? Are you getting involved in analysing Abdullah Mason ahead of this fight?
He does it without doing it. He's like, I've been watching him.
So as soon as the fight got made, like I said, obviously I care about him a lot more because I'm his older brother as well. So I watched all of his fights and I was like, you got him.
You ain't got to say it like that. People know you're my older brother. You look older.
So I was we go on holiday. Everyone thinks you're older. So it's always because you're always frowning, mate.
Keep going. Now your mum feels.
So, but yeah, I watched a lot of Abdullah Mason. As soon as I knew the fight was getting made, I watched a lot of him, and I'm really confident looking into this fight for him.
Tell us about the detail you've seen then.
I'm not going to do too much, but literally, what I've seen of it, he's very good fighting his own fight and being able to do what he likes to do himself. But when you impose someone for a lightweight, he's huge, isn't he? Really, he's huge. He's the strongest lightweight in the world, I'd say, comfortably. And so when he imposes his size and his strength on you, what's he going to do then? He's all right when it's going his way. Now they see the little test. What are you going to do then? What?
And he's a Southie, and he's a lefty, isn't he?
Yeah, he loves southpaws. All his gym's bloody southpaws.
Yeah, to be fair, I've got a lot of southpaws.
I'm going to pick your brains about sparring Shakur in a minute, if we can, and obviously I want to get.
Remember.
I don't want to get.
I was there. I remember.
Right, okay. We'll get all that. Make sure you stick with us. You listen to TalkSport. in a moment. I just want to pick your brains on the sparring that you had with Shakur Stevenson. I mean, he said some wonderful things off the back of that sparring, complimented the power and various things like that. Was it, from your point of view, when you get in with someone like that is probably on a pound-for-pound list and a multi-weight world champion, and you have a little bit of a tangle with him, is it one of them that just reaffirms your own personal beliefs of how good you are?
Yeah, I think for me, I remember I was sat around my pals, we were having a Chinese on a Sunday. Al texted me, and he, like when you're an older gentleman, sometimes you're real blunt on text. He's like, sparring tomorrow. And I thought, oh, all right. I said, who am I sparring? He goes, Shakur. And I was like, hey, you don't mean Shakur Stevenson's, do you? And he was like, yeah. And I was thinking, oh, mate. But we got in there. And,
how did this come about?
I think Sky Nicholson was like, oh, we've got a lightweight in our gym if you want to come down and spar. And I was like, oh, geez,
he stared stuff in his face.
And then, he come down, and then obviously, like, cause it was just after Christmas, so I wasn't fully in camp. And
he was here for the Ring magazine.
Yeah, that was it. And then we went in there, and then he's warming up, and then I'm watching him warm up, and I'm like, oh, am I warming up? Right. You started thinking, and then obviously we sparred, and then you're a bit cagey the first few rounds, but then as you realise, you're not that far away. The gap isn't as big as you think, but everyone's portrayed as big superstars, and obviously I'm little old Sam from Maidstone, do you know what I'm saying? And then it was good.
I've got him in my top 10 pound for pound list.
All right.
Do you think the criticism of him from people is unfair, and maybe he proved something in his last fight?
I think for me, he's unbelievably clever, yeah, but obviously you're like couch boxing fans, just want to see a fight, don't they?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to see
a war.
He is so ridiculously clever. Like, you don't get it.
It's the small margins, what you see with him. When I watched him spar my brother, he watches the way he adjusts his feet every literally like millisecond. He's adjusting his feet, so his foot was always on the outside. I've never seen footwork like that. It's very minute, small margins.
His defence.
But he always get literally slowly creeping. Even if you creep your own foot over, he'll creep his foot on the outside. His footwork was phenomenal.
But when the thing is about him, what people don't give him credit for is how tough he is as well. And I think he really showed that against William Zepeda in the last fight.
Yeah, so I was out there for that fight. We went out there for that. And I think he looked class, and he's so hard to hit. Because I remember even at a point, I got him on the ropes, and I can see where his head is. I can see it. I just couldn't get it, and I was thinking, like, unbelievable fighter. Unbelievable fighter. It was a great experience for me, and I think leading on to the next, like the world stage fight, it really shows you're not that far behind.
I'll come back to you in a minute, Sam. Let's talk you, Sean. What's going on?
Literally now at the moment we're just waiting on the exact date, and then we're building up to what we're going to do next. We thought about going down. We made weight
wise. Okay,
weight-wise, yeah, we've been making welter very, very easy, like comfortably. I was eating on day of weigh-ins and that. So, but we're literally waiting to see what Francis wants to do. And
so you're thinking of it in 140?
Well, probably 140. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking about. But we don't. Again, it's all see what comes, what offers get made to us.
It depends on the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. With the opportunity at welterweight, we take it welterweight. I'm strong enough to be at welter. So
I'll just have a nice weigh-in, mate. I wouldn't bother boiling. Trust me, mate.
Have you got a date in mind of when you want to be back out?
We've been told end of October.
All right, okay. Yeah,
that's what we're working towards at the minute.
We've been speaking about the Queensbury show that is happening at the end of October, so I think that's a London show, isn't it? Not an O2 show.
We mentioned a dinner in the Gentleman's Club in Mayfair with Moses the Town with Francis Warren a couple of years back. You guys have stayed close to Moses, and you've known him. You've got stories of him when he was a young teenager, haven't you?
Yeah, so the Army Amateur Boxing team, all their best fighters come down to spar at his old amateur club with St Mary's. And when they need someone to come over and spar their middleweight, so they rang up, if you've got anyone that can spar him, they went, we put Sean up here. So I went up there, sparred their middleweight, done all right. And then they asked their cruiserweight. Cruiserweight went, can I spar Catterall? And Catterall just got back from the Youth Olympics at this point.
His brother, Catterall.
Yeah. And Catterall was like, no, but put Rico in with him. And so the fella
13, wasn't he?
He was 13 years old. He's a fully grown man, Army Cruiserweight champion, got in there. They didn't tell him he was 13 because obviously he would have been proper spar. Yeah. So he's got in there and he's beat the crap out of him, like shot the fella's eye. At 13, I think his nose was broke. He got out, 2 black eye, stumbling all about. Went, Carl, what do you feed that bloke? the coach, St Mary's coach went, that's not a bloke, that's a 13-year-old boy that hasn't done his GCSEs yet.
So when Moses told us in Riyadh with the fight with Dillian White that when he was 14, he was climbing into Dillian's DM to say, can I come down and spar with you? When Dillian was at his dogged best, He's not lying about that.
No, mate. The kids. I see him at 13.
After school,
15.
Yeah,
15,
mate. Honestly, I see him at 13. That was up with one of my coaches at that point, Brad Brooks, and I think we've just seen the next future heavyweight champion of the world there.
Even at that age,
at 13 years old, he was just the accuracy, the speed, everything was there for such a big guy.
Would you guys like to? We were talking about it earlier on. Do you think Usyk should hang around long enough to fight him?
I think if you're Usyk, the smart move is to.
I wouldn't
bet. I'd put Moses.
Yeah,
I'd put Moses in with him
I'm all for it, mate.
I really would put Moses in with him now.
Do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
I would never bet against him. He's phenomenal.
So how I look at it, yeah. So Fury, obviously, granted, he unbelievable fighter, all the experience and that. But who's faster, Fury or Moses?
Apparently, they've had amazing sparring sessions.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe down the stretch there might be some questions answered. But I think between 1 and 8, I think Moses is gonna.
I'd never bet against him.
And I'm never normally a hype man either. Like 100%. Yeah, I'll bet on it and all. Like,
so hand on heart, both of you, will Moses be a world champion by the end of next year?
100%.
As soon as the fight gets made.
So whoever they feed to him, I don't see anyone beating him.
Feed to him.
Honestly, I don't see anyone beating him. He's, for a heavyweight, he's and you see where he trains. Like we see him with Jordan Vine and that. Everything he does is perfect. And honestly, mate,
there's no side to him. Either,
there's nothing like that. He's literally and
it's incredible, isn't it, mate? I remember. So I feel like for me that Dempsey McKean one, because I remember thinking, he's done 12 rounds. Hergovich is like a big name, and he's just absolutely flattened him, run through him. And I feel like Dempsey McKean's actually his only loss. Like obviously Dillian is probably. As I said, he's still a great fighter, but he probably passed his best, obviously. But I still think he just runs through.
Who next then?
Mate,
you've got a thing like Hergovich to get rounds, I'd say.
He's got the eye at the moment. So what about Jarrell Miller we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, another good fight.
Another good fight. Another tricky operator, but I think he can go for it.
I think that would probably. I feel like that would be a harder fight being a younger
man. Yeah, a bit sharper.
Going to be a little bit.
Might try and bully him in fight week a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like with the older fighters, he's going to have that edge. He's going to be fitter and stronger. Obviously, they got experience, but you got to get to a point where that experience is relevant. If you're getting blasted out in them early rounds, it's neither here or there, isn't it?
So it's not with hindsight. You were both saying 5-6 years ago, this kid's going to be heavy.
Yeah, unbelievable. He was like the talk of amateur boxing, and even we think we were a little bit older than he was. But then, we went to the Europeans, stopped everybody in the first round.
Mate, how many amateur kids do you know come through the amateur scene undefeated?
How many 13-year-olds, going up with 15-year-olds going to spar Joe Joyce? Do you know what I mean? In his school uniform, mate.
Yeah, it's frightening, isn't it?
No, honestly. I remember mucking around body sparring with him once at Westbury when he come over to us for a little bit, and I sat there. I went to open up a little bit, yeah.
How old was he? 9?
Mate, honestly, no. I think he was about 14, 15 at this point. I opened up a little bit, and he clipped me. I went, I ain't opening up. I put my hands in and let him hit me. I went, no way. If he opened up, he's gonna break me.
I sparred him once, yeah, and when he come out, we done a few rounds for him, and I remember, I thought, right. I threw a right hand, I missed, and as I was here, I looked up, and he was just over me, and I thought, I'm glad he looked at me. When you my life flashed before my eyes, I was thinking, oh no, going to jail now. I remember, it was like it went in slow-mo, and I was looking up, and I thought, please don't hit me.
How nice to have been around him for that time.
Yeah, he's a great.
Is he going to support you with Abdullah Mason?
Yeah, of course. I think he'll be coming out for that, but I think he's a great person to train with as well. He's always up for long runs, even as heavyweights.
We done a half marathon with him.
Yeah, we done a half marathon with him, yeah.
Good time and all.
We had him on. We had his dad Charles on TalkSport out in Riyadh. He's a
see that interview. What are you?
Joint venture with him.
He loves quality, innit?
Absolutely, quality is the word. Yeah.
Gents, you should, when you pack in this game of boxing, you definitely need to set up your own podcast. There's something in this, Stefan.
Yeah, we do bounce.
That's why it's good that he come along, isn't he? Because he's better listening, really, isn't it?
He does have a go at you quite a lot, though, doesn't he?
No, it's the other way around.
He honestly, boys, he's just so nasty to me.
Sitting there stirring these two up.
He's so nasty to me. He's always bullying me.
What a pleasure, though. What an absolute pleasure. Always see you two.
Listen, Sean, great to see you, mate. Looking forward to that date, hopefully at the end of October.
Yep.
And good luck in the world title fight, mate. It's a super fight. There's a lot of fight fans there.
Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of fight fans that are extremely excited, not just about your fight, but that card. It's a sensational card to be a part of. You've earned it, mate. You've done the hard yards. You've gone through the traditional route, and now here we are. Super fight. Good luck to you, mate.
Thank you very much.
Do stick with us. Plenty more to get stuck in. So you listen to Fight Night on TalkSport.
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City Dry Cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58 though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wind, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
This is Fight Night on TalkSport. I'm Adam Catterall, Gareth Davies alongside me. How brilliant was that? Sam and Sean Noakes coming to join us. We've had Mick Conlan on the show as well. We're going to get stuck into the pound for pound list in a minute. Make sure you stick around. If you want to get involved, you can. TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel. Comment section is open and you can call us if you want. 03717 22 334. Little bit of news from one of our previous guests. Josh Kelly was on, was it last week or the week before?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, Josh Kelly was in the studio and we were talking extensively about what comes next for him. On last week's programme, we told you that there was a good situation for him with the call-in of a mandated situation with him and Bakram Murtazaliev. And the even better news now is that it's looking highly likely that fight for the IBF 154 championship is going to be heading to the UK. Not confirmed as of yet, but that is the noise, just the broadcast deal that is currently holding up the situation. Fingers crossed they can get that all over the line, and Josh Kelly will get his opportunity to fight for a world championship on British soil.
And on network or terrestrial TV, because it could well be on terrestrial. It would be brilliant if that's the case.
Fingers crossed.
Good for Josh.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he wanted Xander Zayas, didn't he? WBO champion was his ideal, but Bakram Murtazaliev,
he'll take it.
Brilliant. It's about time as well.
Yeah. Good luck to him on that one. And no doubt we'll speak to him before that fight obviously comes to fruition. Now then, you wanted to talk pound for pound lists.
Well, I always want to talk pound for pound lists because it's mythical. It's very debatable. We want to hear what you've got to say about our list as well and what your list is. I'm going to start with, if I'm allowed.
Well, you do your 10.
It's on results.
Okay. All right. You want stipulations? Right. Go on then.
It's on performance.
Yeah.
And it's on track record.
Okay.
Those are the 3 pillars of the Ring Magazine's top 10 as well, which which one is involved with.
I think pound for pound is ever moving. So it's,
there's
also what have you done for me lately?
It comes in and out.
What have you done for me lately? Yeah. Right. Okay then. How do you want to roll this? I mean, I've no problem going in, or do you want to go? And then,
well, I want
if there's any differences from mine.
Well, look, I want to know first of all, because for me tonight, when I first ran into your beautiful face before we went on air, I said, what interests me tonight, Adam, is who you've got just outside that top 10 as well.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Because 10, the best pound for pound in the world. There's always at least two more.
Okay.
That maybe in your mind should be on the list, but they aren't.
Okay.
And I've got two, if I can mention them, who are 11 and 12 for me.
Very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who are?
You naming the ones that are not on the
11
list?
and 12, but right now, first of all.
These are not on the list.
I'm longing this out a little bit. I'm keeping
you're dragging it. Go on. ...
David Benavidez, 11, and Jaya Pataya, 12.
Okay.
Who are your 11, 12, if you've got them?
Okay.
11, 12. 13.
I agree with both of what you've just said.
Okay.
I agree with both of what you've said, and the reason for it is Benavidez hasn't, for me...
Needs that big victory.
Well, he hasn't won, for me, legitimately in the divisions that he's competed in. There's always been somebody else. And a fight that
he hasn't fought the elite in the division.
Not his fault.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely right.
I think he's chased them.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But he hasn't got to that stage as of yet.
Yeah.
I think he could end up being in this top 10 pound for pound list. From a Jaya Pataya point of view, we've got Manos Bradis. Great victory. But again, there's those unifications that I think needs to happen. Eye test, does Jaya Pataya pass it? Absolutely he does. Can he get into the top 10? Yes, absolutely. Also, outside of my top 10, you're going to come for me on this now, Gervonta Tank Davies.
Ooh.
Outside of my top 10.
Why? Because of the draw with Lamont Roach?
No.
Because he's fighting Jake Paul?
No. Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
I think there's a myth in and around Gervonta Tank Davies, right? Eye test, he passes it. But when he's introduced in certain fights, he's always introduced as a 3-weight world champion, right? That's wrong. He isn't. He is a 3-time super featherweight champion. I'll give him that. And then every belt that he's won at lightweight and then super lightweight has always been secondary belts.
Regular.
Yes. So therefore, for me, they don't count.
Okay.
He hasn't done that. Now, as I go down his resume, there's some good names on here. I mean, he had a great win against Pedraza when he originally became the super featherweight champion. You've got Queller, you've got Gamboa. Santa Cruz was an awesome knockout victory. Barrios, Rolly.
An old Santa Cruz.
Yeah, but he knocked him out, and he knocked him out in unbelievable fashion. You've got Barrios, Rolly Romero, and the Ryan Garcia victory. But when you actually get into the nuances of everything that Gervonta's done, it's been very well navigated, that career. Now, the reason why he's outside of my top 10 is because I believe that there's 10 fighters that have actually taken proper fights, taken on proper challenges, that have won proper fights and won proper belts and Ring Magazine championships, multi-weight championships. I think there's 10.
Results, performance and track
Yes,
record.
so I think there's 10 that I can name that top trump him.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Go for it, mate.
So, 10.
Go on.
Tank Davis.
Okay.
9. Shakur Stevenson.
Okay.
8. Canelo Alvarez. 7. Junto Nakatani. 6. Bam Bam Rodriguez. 5. Artur Beterbiev. 4. Dimitri Bivol. 3. Terence Crawford. 2. Naoya Inoue. And number 1, Alexander Usyk. Not the same, is it?
No. Same names, just a slightly different order.
And would you disagree with me on the...
So you've put Gervonta in there, haven't you?
Yeah.
The fighter that I have gone for above Gervonta is Teofimo Lopez.
Fair enough. I'm not going to argue with that. He's been brilliant. But he's sometimes brilliant, and he's sometimes not.
I agree. And the reason why I have gone with Teofimo Lopez over Gervonta Davies is because he's cleaned out 2 divisions. He's a Ring Magazine champion in 2 separate divisions. Whether you call him the undisputed champion at lightweight or not, I personally do, because there was a technicality with that WBC belt. He then went up in weight and became the Ring Magazine champion by beating Josh Taylor. Now that, for me, top trumps anything that Gervonta done. Today, Gervonta could go on to do incredible things. So my list, I've actually got it the other way around. So I've got Shakur at 10. 3-weight world champion. I think there's a lot more still to do for Shakur, but eye test, he absolutely passes it. Teo comes in at 9. Canelo at 8. Junto, then straight after that. I've then got Beterbiev and Bam Rodriguez the other way around.
Okay.
Beterbiev in at 6, Bam Rodriguez in at 5, multi-weight world champion Bam.
That's rough on Beterbiev, though.
Yep, yes, it is. He was undisputed, but Bam Rodriguez is a multiple champion in 2 different weights, and the level of opponent that he's beating at his young age, I think, is sensational.
I don't think we've even seen the best of him.
I don't
either, by the way.
I don't.
I want to see him in against Naua and Nui.
I do. Yeah. Absolutely, I do. Bivol comes in at 4, and then I agree with your top 3. You've got 2-time undisputed in Crawford, you've got 2-time undisputed in Inoue, and 3-time undisputed Alexander Usyk. And the reason why I've got Usyk at number 1, when you analyse the weight jumps, obviously, from a Crawford and an Inoue, they're absolutely sensational. But we're talking about a guy that went from 200 pounds to beating guys that are 260, 270, 280 pounds in the heavyweight division. That's why Usyk, for me, is the pound for pound best on the planet.
If Vasyl Lomachenko, lovely reasoning, if Vasyl Lomachenko was still active, does he belong in the top 10?
Oh, it's a hard argument. He might today, if he's still fighting right now today, I test he would pass it, but because there's a loss there, for example, to a Teofimo Lopez, he would probably just fall outside my top 10, which hurts me because he's one of my favourite fighters ever. And he would have the potential of getting into the top 10, but I would probably just have him on the outside of the top 10.
Yeah, I'm the same. If he was still active today, because when you speak about Usyk, Vasyl Lomachenko is a very similar southpaw fighter to Alexander Usyk, obviously without the power that he has at heavyweight or cruiserweight. But they when you see their shadows moving, when you see their silhouettes moving, Lomachenko almost has more skills than Usyk even.
He does. But in his defence, and this is in defence of Lomachenko, he is a super featherweight.
Fighting at lightweight. Yeah, it was always overmatched.
And I agree, and I would say that argument would probably stand for Tank Davis as well. He's just not lazy with his weight. I think there's bigger challenges and bigger fights for him up in different weight divisions. I don't think we're far wrong with that, but it's an ever-moving list.
I don't know how much time we got here, but Crawford against Canelo, I think we both agree it's number 3 against number 8.
Yeah.
There's an argument here that the best fights in the world still to happen, the trilogy between Beterbiev and Bivol, the fights between Beterbiev, Bivol and Benavidez.
Yeah.
The fight between Alvarez and Benavidez we hope to see, and then Tank Davis and Shaka Stevenson, Tank Davis, Shaka Stevenson and Teo Lopez.
And can you get Bam against Inoue?
And Bam against Inoue. If we could get all those fights in the next 3 years, that
Inoue against Junto as well, by the way.
And Inoue against Junto, that probably will happen. But we're on there. Here's the market for making boxing huge.
Absolutely.
Huge.
But I think this is where Turki Al-Sheikh is in his vision for where he wants boxing
right
to be.
now, please.
I think this is where he's at. And listen, he's making these types of fights. We've had Beterbiev, Bivol, fantastic. You know, Usyk took on Fury. When Fury was active, he was probably in this list, you know? So therefore, we're getting those types of fights.
9 or 10, yeah.
We're now getting Crawford and Canelo. That's another one of his fights that has been made. These are absolutely sensational.
He's done Bivol and Beterbiev twice. He's, you know, I think they'll aid Nakatani and Inoue. You know, how soon before Moses Itauma is in the pound for
pound? It's not long.
No, maybe a year.
It won't be long.
Very exciting when you look at the talent there is in the world right now. And maybe arguably half of these are not household names, which is a shame as well. Globally, not household names, which they should be. Because if these were golfers, they'd be household names. If they were association football players, they'd be household names.
There's 3 fighters there, 3 on that list that are household names.
Alvarez.
Saul Canelo Alvarez is
Usyk.
a household name. Alexander Usyk is, and I would say because of his following in Japan, Inoue Inoue.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. Maybe Tank Davis has the potential to be a massive name in America
but
as well.
That's the thing. They've got to cross over in order to become the stars that they believe that they are.
Very interesting.
You're listening to Fight Night on TalkSport. Get stuck into that. The comment section is well and truly open. If you've been paying attention to TalkSport throughout the course of the week, we are giving you another chance to get to an Oasis gig. We're also giving you a chance to win £25,000. 2 lucky winners, not 1, but 2, will win a pair of Oasis tickets to the gig at Wembley on the 27th of September. And they'll also get £25,000. For all the details of how you enter, take a listen to this.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a TalkSport limited promotion run on TalkSport, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Now then, the fight sports just keep on coming. Next weekend is action pack. I personally am out in Paris for the UFC, and Gareth Davies is heading to Bristol for BKB 45. A man that is going to be alongside Gareth, calling you through the action from the Bristol Ice Arena, is a legend when it comes to fight sports calling. The one, the only, Goldie himself, Mr. Michael Goldberg. Goldie, how are you, man? You good?
Hey, Adam, thank you. I'm good. That was very kind of you. Thank you. And how do I win the 25,000 pounds? Because with the conversion rate, that'll even be better for this American right here.
Mate, we'll get that sorted for you. We'll get you to the concert as well. You just need to stay in the UK after BKB 45.
I have no problem with that. I love it over there. Gareth and Adam, it's great to be with you. Adam, thank you again for the kind introduction.
No problem whatsoever. Listen, you have called through some amazing fights in your time, both through all different aspects of fight sports, and now obviously crossing into the world of bare knuckle. How does calling through these particular fights vary and differ to the things that you have done previously in your career?
As far as combat sports, as I've moved into bare knuckle and the mighty Trigon, I get to say, it is all over, just like that. A lot more frequently and a lot more quickly. I can tell you that for sure. In the last show, I will admit, in my open, for some reason, and you just mentioned going to the UFC in Paris, Adam, I said, and Octagon, Trigon, I don't know if anybody caught it. Now everybody will look back and they'll catch it. But usually I'm pretty good with that. I just enjoy the instant confrontation. And I was in MMA for 25 years and enjoyed every minute of it. And I respect the ground game. And I know how people fight in all the different martial arts, thus mixed martial arts. But there's still something different about a stand-up battle. And there's something different in the minds of the fans and the viewers when they're standing and they're trading and there's a finish, a definitive finish one way or another. And that, Adam, is really what separates my time with bare knuckle now, as opposed to the UFC and my years with Bellator, which were, again, tremendous. But this is different. And I know Gareth and I have spoken on many occasions, and Gareth and I have both said, Adam, that this feels like the infancy of my days with the UFC, when we were becoming legit, when we were becoming mainstream. And if you look at the growth of bare knuckle boxing, and of course, our team now includes UK, BKB, as you well know, Gareth, you'll be with me a week from today, my time. You'll be with me a week from today. It really is. It's starting to hit that peak that Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta gave us a couple of decades ago, and I'm excited about the future as well.
If you were to explain it, like, we haven't managed to convert. Adam and I do a lot of boxing together. Adam works on a lot of UFC now. I did in the past, and also with yourself in Bellator.
I did in the past too.
And you did, no, that's what I mean.
You were the original. You were the original.
You were. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, you are the original.
I'm poking fun at myself.
But how the thing is, what I've found getting involved in the last 7 or 8 events over the last year and a half is that there is an addiction. When we were first involved in MMA in the early days, people were saying in boxing, oh, you've gone over to the dark side. There is an addiction to bare knuckle fighting, Mike, isn't there? And it does feel like we're climbing a parabola at the moment, that it is a fast-moving, fast-evolving sport. And the executives of this, the Mike Vasquez, the David Tretos, all these guys, Tetros, who are involved with us now, Don Povia, they're moving us on so quickly, it does feel that we are on this escalating kind of time frame where bare knuckle boxing will be a very big sport very soon. Do you feel that as well?
No question about it. And the addition of David Tatro as our leader, people who don't know who he is, well, he is the man who brokered the $700 million deal for Canelo to be exclusive on DAZN years ago. And that, of course, was through Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya. So Tatro has been around a long time. He's worked in big business for a long time in the combat sports world. And having his vision now matching with our vision, Gareth, is absolutely tremendous. And I think this is a really big step for our organization. And also, I've often said that I believe that MMA and all those years in which we needed to go from human cockfighting, the late great Senator McCain once said, and I don't know if he was wrong at the time, guys. We went from that to being legit, but there was still blood, and there's still a lot of different things that people weren't really used to seeing so closely, even as the UFC became mainstream. And I believe that bare knuckle, which is actually one of the oldest forms of combat, bare knuckle, we benefit from that because people have become more accustomed to seeing two fighters going at it, knowing if there's a lot of blood, might be a little one in the forehead that actually bleeds because of the adrenaline, your heart rate being up. And I think that benefits us. I really do, Adam and Gareth. I really think the acceptance has become much more escalated and become much quicker because of what we've all experienced in combat sports with MMA, the UFC, and others over the last 25 years or so.
How important is the role that you obviously play, Mike, Gareth, on the night? Because from my personal experience, I remember the first time that I ever watched MMA and I thought, oof, this is a little bit strong for me. You know what I mean? It is a little bit brutal. Yeah. And the education part of it, learning the aspects of jiu-jitsu, learning the aspects of the grappling, then obviously heightened my enjoyment of what I was watching, and therefore I could get stuck into it, and now I'm fully fledged all in. How important is that role from being able to call the fight, but also to put the minds at ease at the people at home, educate them, take them on a little bit of a narrative story throughout the course of the night to heighten their enjoyment of what they're watching through education?
It's essential. It's essential. And it's funny, guys, I used to always get beat up on social media. I still get beat up on social media. But
we all do.
We all do. Why does Goldie keep asking the same dumb questions to Rogan? Doesn't he know that by now? Well, let's step back for a second.
Yeah.
We were on a meteoric rise. And so, Adam, you were one of the guys who joined the journey somewhat after the beginning. So I have to be in the role of teaching, sharing, developing the knowledge, and letting people understand what they're watching, because we're getting more and more viewers every single show, and many new viewers who are not familiar with the actual sport of bare knuckle boxing. At the same time, Gareth and I and Tom Ross will be with us in Bristol a week from today, my time. I have to also take the time to say, all right, let's not jam this or this down the viewers' throats too much, because we have to respect those who have been loyal for a while as well. So it's a very delicate mix, but one that I certainly recognize. And then secondly, I mean, you have to get people you have to have the Tito Ortiz mantra in bare knuckle boxing, meaning nobody in my mind ever wore the black hat better than Tito Ortiz. You either wanted him to win, or you wanted him to see his butt kicked. You wanted him with a victor, or you wanted him on his back knocked out. But you know what you did? You pressed that red button for the pay-per-view, and you were able to either cheer or boo the Huntington Beach bad boy. And that's where we're looking to develop our stars, just to have an interest. They don't have to be good, bad, or indifferent. Just give the fans a reason to want to root for them or root against them. And that's really a big job for myself and Gareth and
make them care.
Paulie Malignaggi, everybody. Make them care. Exactly. Make them care.
Is Mr. Malignaggi running away from Tyler Goodjohn at the moment and getting more time? He should have been on this card. Is he needing more time to get ready for Leeds on October the 18th? He should have been headlining this. Mr. Malignaggi can answer that next week, no doubt, because we've got to get started. One of the things that I do want to point out, Mike,
and by the way, Gareth, no, I do not believe so.
No, but one of the things that we get the privilege of doing is on a Friday when we sit down. Fighter meetings is normal for all broadcasters and broadcast teams and the talent teams, and the stories, the background stories, the narrative that Mike tells so brilliantly on the broadcasts always has done, is so staggering. The different types of people, from military, from people who've suffered horrible depression, from people who've been suicidal, from basically we hear
all aspects of life.
There's 26 fighters on this card. You hear every type of transformational story, and it just inspires you when you sit with them every single event, doesn't it, Mike?
It amazes me, and I find in the UK and in Wales and Scotland and the fighters we talk to from your side of the pond, a lot of them will tell us straight out, combat sports saved my life. I was going down a path in which I would have either been dead or in jail. And that's what they tell us, as you well know, Gareth. And then they talk about combat sports, getting into it, giving them a purpose. They no longer drink. They don't do drugs. They want to be a role model for others to showcase that if you really put your mind to it, if you find something to take your mind, body, and soul away from the negatives, you can turn not only your life into a positive, but others into a positive as well. And so, yes, the stories are fascinating. And you find that in so many forms of combat. You really do. I mean, Julio Cesar Chavez would have said the same thing. Canelo was living on the train. I mean, if you look at it, there's a lot of stories in combat sports like that. Ours just happen to be unique. But we also have a lot of skill at them. We have a lot of skilled fighters who have done a lot of white collar boxing, a lot of glove boxing. Jack Marshman in the UFC and very prominent to be in the UFC. And he's on the card, next Saturday in our co-main event against Dan Laurel. So it's Wales against Wales. And Dan's a guy who comes from that first part of the story that I just shared, Adam, a guy who changed his life through combat sports. So yeah, Gareth is correct in saying that. Adam, I do have to admit, he speaks so brilliantly compared to me. He tells the stories in like see, you know exactly where I'm going, Adam. So half the time I have to go in the truck, Tyler, what can you translate that? Because Gareth is way smarter than me. So can you help me with what he just said?
I think your elegance and elocution tonight is absolutely on point. You're such a gregarious character.
Did he say elocution or electrocution?
Something like that. Listen, Goldie, thank you so much for giving up a bit of time to come and join us and obviously talk about this next week. Safe flight. Looking forward to you calling through these fights. It's going to be super entertaining. Great to have you on the show, sir.
Great to be with you guys. And Adam, I hope to see you at one of our shows live very, very soon, but enjoy Paris.
Top man. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Goldie.
There you go. I think I might come to the one that Malignaggi's on. Did you say he's fighting Leeds?
October the 18th. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of get Mike to get under his skin like I'm going to do for the next few weeks when he fights.
Don't wind him up. I like Paulie. He's a good guy.
He apparently suffered an injury. He was going to headline this event and he signed up for 3 fights. No, I love Paulie Malignaggi, but he's very easy to wind up.
Okay. All right. Well, BKB 45 next week. Conley versus Rafael and Lowell versus Marshman.
Live on TalkSport.
Live on TalkSport in Bristol. And these two gentlemen that we've just been speaking to there, obviously Gareth and Mr. Mike Goldberg, will be calling you through those fights. So make sure you come and join the lads for that. Don't be going anywhere. This is Fight Night on TalkSport.
Weren't at the beginning of the show. No. I'm so glad Tony Ferguson's won, though.
Well, I've just watched the stop. I'm like, what is going on? Anyway. Let's move on to something else, shall we? Weekly with George Glinsky is happening right now. The man from TalkSport.com. George, how are you, buddy?
How are we doing, guys? How are we doing?
I'm very well indeed. Why are you not at the Old Misfits tonight? I thought this would be your thing, with being a big numbers cruncher for TalkSport.com.
No, I've actually palmed it off onto someone else.
Good lad.
I hate to be that guy, but I am very anti sort of influencer boxing. I think there's a place for it, but it's just not my cup of tea.
I am wholeheartedly on board with what you've just said. There is a place for it in the landscape as long as it is the messaging around it is correct. Okay?
Correct.
There we go. Are you happy with that, Gareth?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, top 3 stories on the on website this week, my man. What have you got for me?
So at number 3, we've got exclusive with David Adelaide. He's wanting to get back into action quite quickly after that loss to Filip Hrgović. Quite a lopsided decision loss. I think he won only one of the 10 rounds, but there was a lot to like about the performance. He obviously gets that cut early doors. He rocks or seemingly rocks Filip Hrgović. I'm not entirely sure. Hit him with 13 consecutive shots, so you'd like to think he hurt him to some extent. A lot to like about that performance. But he's suggesting that he wants to get right back in there, November the 15th against Daniel Dubois on the Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn undercard. Very ambitious. If I'm managing him, I'm saying let's take a step back. Let's go down to British level. Let's maybe, work ourselves back up. But so much ambition from David Adelaide. And I guess it's a fight that would sell.
That's why you're not his manager, George.
What do you mean?
Very true.
Listen, they rolled the dice, didn't they? They got the opportunity. He was supposed to be fighting the rematch with Jamie TKV. But he got his opportunity against Filip Hrgović. And you've got to attempt to... You've got to dare to be great, haven't you, in this sport? And he's had a go. And now that he's tasted that level of fight, I'm not surprised that he wants to stay at that level and keep going. Personally, I think he's jumped levels, and maybe, as you've just said there, George, maybe he just comes back down to British level just to get that stock rising again. But it'd be interesting to see who they do match him up with, because his promoter owns the heavyweight division. So all the top fights and all the top fighters are signed to Queensberry. He is one of those fighters. And we were talking at the start of the show, the potential matches for the likes of the Dubois, the Italmas, and all these. Adelaide's obviously part of a conversation. I don't think he's part of that conversation just yet. But I'm glad that he wants to get straight back out there and straight back on the course.
Well, just to interject there, George, you may know this, I certainly know this. In the background, had Adelaide beaten Filip Hrgović, they were going to give him Moses Italma next.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean that's a fight that I think would have made sense, as you say.
It would have sold.
Would have sold a lot. I mean, the thing with Adelaide, he's so athletic, he hits so incredibly hard, so fast. It's just about sort of fine-tuning those aspects of him. I think there's a lot of potential there. He's still 28. That's incredibly young for a heavyweight. But yeah, I think Moses Italma, David Adelaide would have been a very fun fight. And I'm kind of disappointed now.
My feeling, and George Foreman used to say this about heavyweights, and he said it about Anthony Joshua, the most important thing for a young heavyweight who's got loads of talent is just realising what they are. And he's a big, rumbustious, aggressive fighter. And I'm not knocking Adam Booth here, and I was there ringside, but I thought he disappeared between rounds 3 and 8 in that fight, much to the credit of Filip Hrgović, whose eye got badly cut in the second round. But I think they, rather than saying stay in this fight and box Hrgović, I think he should have gone for it.
Maybe. Listen, it's a learning opportunity. That's the massive step up for him against Hrgović, isn't it? It didn't go his way, but I'm sure he's learned an awful lot. I like David Adelaide. I like his attitude.
I love him.
I like what he brings to the table. I think Dubois might be a stretch too far next, but listen, that's the ambition. I like that. Pushing forward for maybe something in 26 or maybe in 2027. What's the second story, buddy?
So Andy Ruiz Jr., we're doing a lot of Andy Ruiz Jr. stories at the moment. He's seemingly on the verge of a comeback. I said last week, December, January he's aiming for. He's now reunited with Manny Robles, who, for those who don't know, was the man who masterminded that historic and incredible upset win over Anthony Joshua back in 2019. They parted ways after the rematch where And I don't think it's had anything to do with Manny. It was, I think Andy admitted himself that it was his own partying that led to the massive weight gain. But obviously came in 15.5 pounds heavier, wasn't a great performance. And they subsequently parted ways. He went off with Eddie Reynoso for one fight, and then joined Alfredo Osuna, who's not a household name, not someone that too many people know, but he works in his gym, and there was a friendship there, so it made sense. But now he's 36 in 2 weeks. He wants to have a really good last crack at this and hopefully get a world title. That's what he's obviously aiming for. He's got back with a man who got the best out of him, so I think that's a good move.
It's a fantastic move, and with the situation that we've currently got in that heavyweight division, America needs somebody to represent them. Andy Ruiz can absolutely do that. I know, obviously, there's South American, Central American descent there, but what's Deontay doing? We don't know where Deontay Wilder is really right now. What is Jared Anderson? What is Big Baby Miller? We're talking about a former unified heavyweight champion in Andy Ruiz. Let's get back on the horse, man. There's massive fights for him if he can get fit.
I had an amazing time going and visit him in Los Angeles gym of Manny Robles, seeing Andy Ruiz in the couple of weeks before he fought Anthony Joshua. He was brilliant to be around. He obviously got the fight late as well, didn't he? Because Jarrell Miller was the pullout at the time. As you say, he became a multi-weight world champion. I loved he and Manny Robles together. And I spoke many times with Manny about Andy leaving him afterwards, because he did strike it rich, and we know that I think he made 19 million from the rematch, something like that. And he did get overweight, and he did go and party, and his life fell apart a bit, and his wife started having a go at him, and he got heavily into marijuana, all those different things that he started doing. He bought 5 fast cars only to drive.
We'd all do daft stuff if we had that amount of coin, wouldn't we? Come on, we'd all do daft stuff.
But he'd only lost to Joseph Parker in that entire time leading up to
did he really
his
lose?
34th fight. Exactly, very close fight.
Man.
To his 34th fight when he beat Anthony Joshua and shocked the world that night. But he didn't shock himself because, again, rather like Moses Atauma, he had been fighting men since he was about 15 at heavyweight, because he'd always been 6 foot but 20 stone. Or 18 stone, and very fast hands and very good feet. And I remember seeing that straight away in the gym when I went to visit him. Man, this guy has got the fastest hands I've seen on a heavyweight for some time. It's great to see him back. I love those videos of him this week that were on your stories where he looks about 16 and a half stone again. And there's no belly on him anymore. And that hand speed is still there. Maybe, did we mention it earlier? Could he be an opponent for Moses Atauma?
Oh, you dirty boy. What are you playing at, man? let him have a nice 1 or 2 before he gets into the top boys. All right?
Or could he be an opponent when Moses Atauma becomes a world champion?
Maybe. Listen, he's got the name value. Definitely something there, isn't there? Definitely something there for Andy Ruiz. It's good to have him back. Fingers crossed he can stay fit, like I said. What's your final story, mate?
Final story, it was early this week, kind of old news at this point, but I think it opens up for a really nice discussion. Obviously, Dillian Whyte saying that he's continuing boxing after that defeat to Moses Atauma. Just for those who haven't obviously seen the statement, I'll read out the very brief few words that he put out there. He just said, "This is not where my story ends. I may have lost this fight, but not the fire that built me. Thank you to everyone who's been standing by me through the highs and the lows. I'll be back." So, devastating 1-round blowout against a very young and talented Moses Atauma. A lot of people suggesting he should retire, but there's still fire there. This isn't about the money, I don't think. I obviously don't know him personally, so I couldn't possibly say, but there seems to be a fire to sort of redeem himself, a fire to get a W again. It's been a long time since he's been in significant fights. I don't think the Moses Atauma fight was a wise decision, but, that's boxing.
There's always going to be some type of fight for someone like a Dillian Whyte, I think, because of the profile that he
Eric Chisora.
Those types of
Joe
fights,
Joyce.
Those types. Listen, they're those types of fights, yes, right? It's not going to be at the top level. If I'm going to be dead honest about it. It's not going to be for world titles. It's not going to be against the elite guys that are now obviously kicking on. But there's always going to be fights for him because I think he's popular with a big fan base, and
I don't think there's a lot of fights left. I mean, it's up to him when he decides to retire. But as Tyson Fury was pointing out, last weekend, certainly in the aftermath as the dust settled on the 119-second victory for Moser Town. This is a young man's sport, and the heavyweight division is becoming a young man's division.
Yep, I agree.
Can I just say, can we just have the full shot of George on the screen for a moment, please, if we can? Now, you've been in the attic. You've been in the dungeon. Have they stuck you in a tent in the garden this week?
This is actually this is an actual attic.
Okay, but unconverted.
This is where we've moved again, and then I'm moving now to another house. I mean, I've moved 3 times. I'm finally getting into my own house in a month's time.
You're the in-laws squatter, mate. That is what you are.
Unfortunately, I don't have an attic there, so it's going to be quite normal surroundings.
You look like you're in a tent. I'm sorry.
Well, this section is going to be amazing when you've got your own studio in your own house, isn't it?
I know, it's going to be amazing. I'm not sure what you guys are going to pick out from it. I'm sure you'll find something.
We'll have a go, mate. We'll have a go. Listen, thank you very much for jumping on, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Cheers, George.
You too. Bye, guys.
There you go. There's your big stories on TalkSport.com with George Glinsky. Make sure you're checking that out throughout the course of the week. He's across everything when it comes to all fight sports, not just boxing, but obviously everything in the world of MMA as well. His team there, they're writing plenty of things connected to this show, connected to all the other shows, and connected to everything that's going on in the world of fight sports. So go and get yourself stuck in. Don't be going anywhere. We might go through these results on Misfits. We might not.
You want to, don't you? Look at you pretending you don't want to.
I want to see if my mate's won. I'll be back in a minute. This is Fight Night on TalkSport. I'm Adam Catterall, Gareth A. Davies alongside me. It's been an action-packed show tonight. Thank you very much to the Noakes brothers for coming to join us. Both Sam and Sean were in the studio ahead of Sam's fight with Abdullah Mason. Obviously, Sean looking Looking forward for a date at the end of October, as he revealed tonight. Fingers crossed he can get that one over the line. Mick Conlan's been on the show as well. We've spoken to Michael Goldberg ahead of everything that's going on at BKB next weekend. Thank you very much for your contributions as well when we were speaking about the heavyweight division in the world of boxing. But we have flirted at certain points throughout the course of the night with the world of Misfits. It's because it's a quiet week in the world of boxing, and that is the show. That's what's going on. It's just concluded up in Manchester. I can tell you, if you're interested, Darren Till beat Luke Rockhold. He stopped him in the third round, dropped him in every round. Dropped him in the first, dropped him in the second, and then knocked him out cold in the third round. Obviously, two MMA stars there stepping into the world of boxing. That fight took place at Bridgeweight, I've just learned.
It did.
You've got Tony Ferguson. He won, as did Dylan Dennis. They had a weird MMA contest in the middle of this, didn't they? So they had boxing, and then they had a bit of MMA in there as well. Dylan Dennis won his MMA contest, and I'm led to believe, if people are bothered about this, that Joey Essex won his contest as well. So they're your main headlines from the world of Misfits. The who's who of the boxing world. A lot of familiar names, world champions, big players from the world of boxing in attendance. This is what I was talking about at the start of the show regarding the blurring of the lines. Is it real? Is it not real? Is it boxing? Is it not boxing? It's not sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. It's a different sanctioning body that does sanction it. I'm okay with it having its own particular place in the landscape because I'm fully appreciative that it isn't Canelo, Crawford or elite level boxing, the stuff that we go to and comment on a week-by-week basis. I understand there's an audience for it. I'm just conscious of how we market it and how we talk about it. But it is part of the landscape, whether we like it or not.
Well, there was a time on TalkSport a couple of years ago, this is event 22 of KSI's Misfits with DAZN, where we were there for Tommy Fury and KSI, or I certainly was. I don't think you were at that event, but as you mentioned earlier, but we got massive numbers for it. You know, I mean, I remember us being highly entertained by a 2-person boxing match tag team. It wasn't on air while we were doing it, but it was entertaining and hilarious at the same time, and they weren't good enough to actually hurt each other. What we're now getting is big names, very clever matchups. This was a very clever card that they put together that has kept people on their seats, and they've fallen on a good week when it's been quiet in boxing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, there was a fight backstage earlier after one of the contests, which was a bit disgraceful. There were a lot of disgraceful things said in the build-up. But we are potentially looking now, and like I say, I've just seen that clip that you showed me in the break of Darren Till clean knocking out Luke Rockhold and delivering on his promise. There is talk of Darren Till fighting Andrew Tate towards the back end of next year. Tony Bellew, Carl Froch in attendance, as you mentioned. Maybe they're going to have one on Misfits. Who knows?
I hope not.
Well, Jake Paul against Carl Froch, is that a Misfits? Jake Paul against Tony Bellew, is that a Misfits? Well, Davies against Jake Paul, is that a Misfits?
No. Well, listen, again, I want to be perfectly clear with where I'm at with Misfits and then where I'm at with those crossover fights where people from those novice lands come and fight the elite guys. Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis is an absolute, complete and utter circus fight. Now, this is a circus, but it's an evenly matched circus, so therefore it has a place where it can...
I take your point.
Where it can live. I don't fully know how I feel because I'm not overly interested in it. It's not one of them where I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to go and watch that because that's going to have ramifications for this going forward. I think it's a piece of entertainment that a certain audience and demographic get into. That's cool. If they're inspired to be fans of boxing, that's cool as well. But for me, listen, I'm excited about the other fights, the Canelos and the Crawfords.
I cannot wait to be there with you a week on Saturday, mate. I cannot wait to be at the Bare Knuckle in Bristol next week because that will deliver 13 fights. Half of them will be knockouts in the first or second round. I just wonder when the Misfits series comes to its 5-year conclusion with, and this is a question for you to answer, with KSI and DAZN, does it carry on?
Numbers always sell.
So it will.
And on that, we'll call it a day tonight, shall we? Thank you very much for joining us here on TalkSport. Always a pleasure to be with you here on Fight Night. Next week, it's a little bit different. Myself and Gareth won't be here because, as Gareth said, he's going to be in Bristol with the Bare Knuckle. I'm going to be at the UFC. But the show will be here, so make sure you come and join us for that. And then the week after, we'll be bringing you this live from Las Vegas as Canelo and Crawford go at it in that super fight that we're all extremely excited about. Make sure you're subscribing to the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel throughout the whole course of the week. We'll catch you next time.